All right, happy Thursday, everybody. Hey, October. What do you say? October baseball is back.
Yes, it is.
Welcome.
We are in the playoffs, baby.
Ooh, now are we?
We are. I am a Cubs fan. I'm very much a Cubs fan.
I didn't know if I should text you yesterday when they were on the brink of clinching.
You should have.
They clinched in Pittsburgh yesterday. So we will be talking baseball into the month of October, and probably the way they're playing, and we're speaking of the Chicago Cubs, probably we'll be talking about them in November.
Maybe. I mean, look, I love how they've recovered from July and just the absolute calamity it looked like, and it felt like 2019 all over again. And then they found a way to beat the teams that are much lesser than them and get themselves into what will more than likely be a 90-win season. But Gary, it is the first time, and I didn't know this until I thought about it yesterday. It is the first time one of my pro teams will be in the playoffs since 2021.
Oh, wow.
Since 2000.
So it's about you.
It is. It's all about me. It's always about me.
The Cubs did save Chicago sports. That's what they're saying this morning.
Yeah, we have nothing. We have nothing else. The Hawks suck. The Bears suck. The Bulls are in purgatory in the play-in game forever. This is the only team that has proven that they can literally win more games than they lose. They're the only team I root for that does that consistently now. It's crazy.
They're playing well. The Cubs are playing well, and they clinched yesterday, so they're in the postseason. So there will be baseball chatter. Thank you. It has been a while since watched the Cubs go down meekishly against the Marlins in the COVID playoff year of 2020. But that's for the month of October. You know what's around the corner. We're 2 days away from a helmet game. So good morning, everybody. Grab your coffee because we're loaded to talk a lot about Nebraska and Michigan. But even with because me and my Cub fans, we were celebrating yesterday, thought might pull the trigger on a playoff game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had that thought as well because I think I might be going back in October. It might be a spur. You should, though.
Yeah, I got the email about the early code to get in, and talking to some good friends that live in Chicago, and they're my Cubs guys when we go. They're like, if you can pull it off, you can get tickets. I was like,
do it. You should go.
Thinking about it. I can't do it the heartbreak. I can't go to a playoff game. But, I stood for the entire Game 5 of the World Series, and I could not fathom watching the then Indians celebrate. So I don't know. I might wait. I might wait. They got right now it'd be San Diego in a 3-game wild card series.
I hate that.
But here's one thing I did appreciate yesterday. And I think this goes for everybody. I don't care if you play sports or not, because there's a lot of us NARPs out there. I think you should always celebrate. I don't care if it's the wild card, because you always have to ask, when are you going to do it again? Cubs hadn't done it for 5 years. You should always celebrate victories. Okay, life is way too short. So if you win something and people say, "Oh, that's not what you're chasing," you know what? Celebrate the victory. So I was glad that there was a full-on celebration yesterday in the clubhouse, because if you've ever been involved in that, whether you be in minor leagues or major leagues, being involved in a celebration in a clubhouse where there is champagne and beer and all that kind of stuff, and you got to wear goggles, and you're like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice these clothes. It is a great, great feeling. So I was glad to see they celebrated and didn't say, "Oh, it's just the wild card." Well, life's too short. Celebrate. If you're 4-0 on Saturday, celebrate.
Obviously,
if you're 3-1, if you're 3-1, don't get down in the dumps.
Well, it depends on how you lose.
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
Oh, it totally does.
No.
If they get blown out,
Nebraska's not going to get blown out.
Okay, I agree with that. But if just hypothetically, if
I don't deal with hypotheticals.
Okay. Well,
talk to the wall if you want to talk about hypotheticals. And I'm being honest. I don't deal in hypotheticals.
You wouldn't be down in the dumps? You don't think people would be down in the dumps if they got blown out?
They would be down in the dumps, but they're not going to get blown out.
Okay.
So I'm not even thinking that way.
That's a good point.
So you think they're going to get blown out?
I don't.
You think there's a possibility of them getting blown out?
But I'm just saying, you were just like, don't be down in the dumps. There's
no. Okay, I'll play the game with you.
Sure.
There is 45-7 that is out there. Okay, so something like that could happen. If that happened, then something majorly has gone wrong, and it's not just they're 3-1. It's more of a discussion of what is going on in Lincoln.
1,000,000%, which would then cause us to be.
That only happens if they eat raw chicken before the game. They're not losing.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
You don't think they'll eat Probably not raw chicken. I trust the nutritionist down there that they won't slip that in.
Yeah, so
They got some of the best nutritionists in the country.
I think they'll be right there.
If there was a thing that was least likely to happen, it would them being getting food poisoning from anything they're eating over there at that state of the art training table.
Sacrifice a live chicken.
I still can't believe that Michigan screwed this game up
By having Sherrone Moore be suspended.
No,
by losing Oklahoma.
So, we kind of talked about. Well, let's see. He dissed the opening conference game to go back to his alma mater. Being on with some people in Michigan over the last couple of days, he has explained it, and it wasn't just they're honoring him at Oklahoma. It is because he wanted to be with Bryce Underwood for the first 2 games.
Okay.
So they had the choice of either the first 2 or the next 2, and he thought it was more important to be with Bryce Underwood for the first 2 games. That's what a guy told me yesterday when we were discussing Bryce Underwood and Moore not being here.
I still can't believe that they were able to pick when he got punished. That still is so wild to me that you can commit literally like a crime amongst the NCAA. And you're like, hey, Gary, do you want to serve your 10-year sentence right now from 20 to 30 or when you're 30 to 40? Like that is certifiably insane to me. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. You move on. You wish he was here. Because I don't think anybody will try and put an asterisk on it, but it is kind of annoying that there definitely would be some people, Dave Portnoy, who would try and do that.
They might be better. So I think there is, their wide receiver core is not what they've been because they've had a good stretch of wide receivers, but they've had drops, and their most reliable wide receiver that will be their go-to guy on Saturday might be a tight end or 2 tight ends. They lost a lot last year on the lines, of course, to the NFL. They might be the same team they were last year, but just with a chance to be better offensively because of their quarterback. I mean, that's like the prevailing theme, and I'm giving you from the other side after talking to people in Detroit and around Michigan, is this is very much a curious game for them. And to bring more back into the conversation, they might be a better team without him.
That's crazy.
Because the question about Moore is game management and sticking his hand in places where it shouldn't be when it comes to the offense. Because 10 of the 15 games that he's been the head coach, they have failed to reach 300 yards. Now, they were playing Central Michigan, but their offense looked completely different. It's almost like they took the training wheels off of everybody, and they were more dynamic. And they might, without him being there on game day, come in here with a whole different plan than they normally would. Because there's a lot of people that the prevailing theme about Sherrone Moore at Michigan is he is the guy that is the bridge to the next big guy to be the head coach of Michigan. He's the fall guy for what has gone on with Harbaugh, and he's a good guy. He's a loyal lieutenant. Let's give him the gig, and let's hope he doesn't mess it up. But he beat Ohio State. He beat Alabama last year. So people are like, oh, okay, Bryce Underwood, with a little help from the ATM, came home. They're waiting to see. But his game management and their lack of offense has been an issue, and all of a sudden they put up a big crooked number, and they look differently in the way they operate and the way their play calling was. So I think from the Michigan standpoint, they're very curious to see what this looks like. And if they pull, I guess it wouldn't be an upset. It's a pick'em game, but it did go up to 2.5.
It did.
Is okay. That's not good for Sherrone Moore.
So
they're 2-0 without him, and they look different.
Like, that's kind of grounds, in my opinion, to fire him or to move on from him.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, okay. Think of it this way, though. If you're saying that if you get rid of your head coach,
you're talking like fire. If they win, if they go 2-0, you fire him.
I'm not. No.
We're good.
I'm not
gonna let you go.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that if they beat Nebraska, they should make Biff the full-time head coach.
Biff the next blow.
But what I'm saying, though, is that what does it say about your head coach if objectively your team got better when he was no longer around?
It says, one, I would look at the preparation and everything that went into their last 2 weeks. But I would also wonder, does he let, like Rule lets Dana cook? Have they let Chip Lindsey, their offensive coordinator, cook? Moore last Monday said something about Underwood and being careful and his health and not running him. His OC speaks the following day, and they're like, heck no. We're going to use something that is his most valuable asset, and that is his legs. And what did he do? He ran the ball, which also helped their passing game.
Well,
so it's just I don't know the full dynamics of how all of Michigan is working. And I imagine they're a mystery. They're a mystery to a lot of people on what you're going to get on Saturday. Getting Rod Moore back is a big deal. They're still kind of banged up on the offensive line, but they might be the same team they were last year, just with a chance to be better at quarterback, which means you could put the ball in the end zone a time or two more.
See, I think I don't think this Michigan team though is 7-5. I think they're probably the same team they were when they beat Ohio State and when they beat Alabama and when they challenged Indiana toward the end of the year. Now, the D line this year, for just watching, is not as good as it was last year, just because they had the number 5 overall pick and number 13 overall pick go in the NFL draft. They're still wildly talented. They still can gash the ball on the ground. They're not Michigan superpower. They're not, Michigan tier 1 Michigan.
They're removed from the last time we saw Michigan and Lincoln.
Yes, but they still are.
They're in the meaty middle.
Well, they still are a good team and they're the type of team that if you're going to become what Matt Rule wants you to become, that you have to win this game. I don't know if there's a bigger game for Matt Rule to win on the schedule after this game. Okay, so outside of the Penn State game, right?
I think USC would be probably in this conversation.
See, but to me, the reason why I'm saying that this would be a bigger win than USC is because of the slot, right? The 2:30 slot, that CBS Sports slot. The Michigan is still ranked, right? And people still are on kind of like nobody's out on Bryce Underwood after you beat Oklahoma. And if you were to lose to Michigan, right? I think immediately, even if you end up beating, Northwestern and Michigan State and Maryland, you still have those question marks heading into the USC game of, is Nebraska really that good of a team? Are they really like in the conversation? Have they really taken the next step like with Matt Rule? Where in this one, we don't really have those questions because they haven't lost yet. And so I think just the fact that they're undefeated, the fact that they have a ton of momentum, the fact that this is early in the year and we're really not out on guys yet, and we really haven't had, we don't fully know what teams are. Like, I think that adds into, man, if you beat Michigan at home in front of all these people, that's massive.
I don't know. That USC November looms pretty large if you get by Saturday. I think if Nebraska finds a way to win this football game, there is more to discuss than there would be if they lose.
Oh, way more.
Because if they lose this game, it's probably going to be the reasons that we have had for going into the season, and we've wondered for 3 weeks. But if they win the football game, there is a ton more to discuss about where the program is headed, how they were able to overcome all the past history, how they were able to beat a good team. Because let's be honest, and here's the thing that is, it even shows the despair that Nebraska football has had when it comes to playing teams that are ranked and have a number next to their name. The last time Nebraska beat a ranked team, everybody knows by now, you can repeat it, you probably say it in your sleep, is the Oregon game.
Yeah.
The iPhone was out, right? You had an iPhone back then?
Yes.
You know what the iPhone was then?
What, the iPhone 5?
The 7.
Jeez.
Do you also know what that Oregon team went on to do in 2016?
Off the top of my head, no. I don't.
They went 4-8.
Yeah.
Okay. So they rolled into Lincoln 18th in the country. At the time, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Didn't age very well. And that streak has not aged for a long time. But if they lose, less things to talk about. If they win, more things to discuss, because it also shows this. Nebraska, history will tell you, Nebraska's supposed to lose on Saturday. Like, they are supposed to lose.
Yeah.
They're an underdog. They're at home, slight underdog, but there's a lot of hype. People feel real good about Nebraska. They're playing a ranked team. They're going to lay an egg. Okay? But if they win a game like that, then it starts the whole, okay, it's different. And then it turns to, what have you done for me lately? Okay, on to the next one. So I think if they win, there's a lot more to discuss. If they lose, and this is my opinion, they're going to lose this football game for the same reasons that we have had back in August, that we had after Cincinnati, that we kind of had after Akron, that we don't remember after Houston Christian.
I think, though, a big reason, too, why we'll have more to discuss if they end up winning is because you legitimately start to have the CFP comp. You start having the postseason conversation of like this team could end up being one of the 12 best teams in the country, and
it's a legit discussion. If they go to 4-0, it's an opportunity.
And you haven't been there before, and not only have you not been
2016.
Well, no, not only have you,
and they were 7-0. And then the bottom fell out.
Okay, but I'm talking about in the last 5 years that not only have they not been there before, they haven't even sniffed a potential national championship playoff conversation like that. And then I mean, I don't know, man. Like
they put themselves in a back end conversation. They still have a long way to go.
But
they put themselves in a back end conversation of possibly being the 10th, 11th, or even 12th team in a playoff, which, to your point, they haven't been in, but that's all part of the opportunity of beating a team like Michigan.
This isn't a take, but this is more so just a conversation of you put yourself, you say, in the back end of like 9, 10, 11, 12, right? But I think the reason why we might say that, or we might be hesitant to have that type of conversation, is because of the past that has happened, the Nebraska of the past, because of the close losses and the backbreaking turnovers and all that stuff. But if we were to just look at Nebraska as just a regular old football team and erase the memory of everything that has happened over the last decade, I think you would just look at them and be like, man, it's not just a back end conversation to making the college football playoff. It is a a very manageable road, like a very manageable road to get to the playoff. Like Northwestern isn't that good. Michigan State has not looked that good. Minnesota lost to Cal, last week. Penn State on the road is going to be tough, but all you really have to do is beat USC at home after coming off of a Michigan win at home, and you're in. And like that is more than just like, to me, like, oh, okay, they might sneak in. Like this is you're staring it down the barrel.
I think it's way too early, but that's why I say you're in the back end of the conversation. You're mentioned, and you might show up in some of these Sunday morning college football playoff projections as a 10, 11, 12. Now, why I say this? Because I respect them. You know the narrative. I mean, you're old enough. You've kind of followed this a little bit. Michigan would be 2-2. And people would be like, well, no, this is a Nebraska conversation. The Nebraska beat a team that they're not supposed to beat. And they've lost these games before, and they found a way to win a game. Okay? So all of that stuff, BS. Maybe down the road, it comes to fruition. You're like, well, Oklahoma and Nebraska are together because that Michigan win did not age very well. But in the moment, which I don't want to project down the road. I mean, you're 4 games in, you got 8 to go after Saturday, but it's an opportunity to put yourself in a conversation for everybody.
Yes.
For Rule, for Raiola, for the program, for the fans. I mean, I almost think the fans need it more than anybody else. And I think Rule is handling this correctly. Listening to him last night on his show is, I was on a different show and we were having a discussion. How can you have a must-win vibe, but it's really not a must-win? If you're looking at the whole scope of the season, because as a program, if you are this early in the season and you put everything into one game and you say this is a must-win, then how stable is your program? Because I think Rule last night alluded to it, is then you move on to Michigan State. Okay, you play next opponent up for the next opportunity, and you hope to be 4-0. But you know what? If you're 3-1, that doesn't mean that Michigan beat you twice or beat you 3 times in a row.
Well, I think the whole like must-win conversation, it just is dependent on like what your expectations are and how you look at it. Like if your expectations are this team has to make the college football playoff, then I think you can argue that it's a must-win.
Yeah. You think that's changed? Like, you had Michigan winning, right?
I have Michigan winning.
Okay. Not have, but you had.
Oh, for sure.
And there's a lot of people that if you were 8-4, probably Michigan was one of those games that you lost. I wonder if people have changed their opinion because you watch Michigan and you watch Nebraska and you're like, okay, that won't be a loss. That's going to be a win. Now welcome to the 9-3 club.
So you talked about it after the Cincinnati game where you said, look, I said 9-3. That was your prediction was 9-3. And people had asked you, have you changed your prediction after week 1? And you said, no, I have not. And after,
I actually think I'm going to be 10-2.
and after 2 games, I'm assuming you're still at 9-3, right? After Houston, Christian, and Akron. For me, I'm at 8-4, and I haven't changed. Like, and when thinking about this game all week, and I'm not trying to discredit what happened against Akron and Houston Christian, but I find myself reminding myself more and more often of some of the mistakes that were made against Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of like I have to redial at times and be like, hey, they've only played one Power 5 team. Like that's the lens that I've been trying to look at it. And so whilst there has been great stuff that's happened over the last 2 weeks, I think like I've tried to not allow that to cloud my judgment because there were things that they did against Cincinnati that would make them lose the game if they did against Michigan.
Kind of, yeah. I'm with you. You kind of along the lines of if they lose this game, it's probably going to be because of the same things we've worried about. Okay, that can they stop the run? Can Dylan with pressure make smarter decisions? In that Cincinnati game, when people were at his feet and he wasn't as quick in his decision, he didn't get out of the pocket. There were almost a couple interceptions in that game. Well, so that's why they win. There's a lot more to discuss. If they lose, I think there is less to discuss. Now, not going to mean that people are happy. You got to move. But if they lose, it'll be because the same things that are brought up day after day have not been rectified, and maybe they're going to linger all season. I hope not. But
do you think, though, that would be progress as opposed to if they played Michigan and they ended up losing because things that you didn't anticipate would happen or problems that they didn't anticipate having occurred? So what I mean by that, if they go out and they play Michigan, like
now, I think it's going to be a close game. So
yeah.
So it could be you can still play well and lose. Okay.
Sure. Oh God.
Yeah. Both teams could play really, really well. And at the end of the day, you tip your cap and go, you know what? They were better than we were. They got the ball last. They kick a field goal.
I think some of the losses that Nebraska has had, and this isn't just under rule, but over the last couple of years, there have been games where you walk away and you're like, all right, I guess that's a problem now. Like,
oh, you look, and you're just saying, will there be anything new?
Yeah. Like it would be like, wouldn't it be progress in a way if they walked out and even if they lost the game, you would be like, you know what? At the end of the day, at least there's not a new thing we have to worry about.
The scary thing would be, all right, the pass defense is not what we thought it was. Yes. Dylan is, and Dana can't orchestrate an offense against Power 4 teams who can put the ball in the end zone. That's what I still have a concern about.
Well, and that
you just don't want anything new of, oh God. I mean, I guess Key and Hunter against good competition, they're not very good.
Like, and that's what I mean by that being progress. But that I think is the one issue, and you've done it more, and I think we've done it both together, honestly, more than any other people talking about it, is that whole, okay, yes, the offense has visually looked better under Dana. But there is the stat that you had, right? 10 points, 13 points, 10 points, 44
20,
points. 20,
44, 10, 20, 20.
Like 20, 3 20s aren't good enough. 20 points is not going to win you this game against Michigan.
No.
Like that's like that can't, if they go ahead and they score 17 points or 20 points or anything under really like 21, like you're kind of sitting there thinking, all right, there's like, this might actually be an issue.
But doesn't it feel like of this discussion here and two teams that are physical, then it'll turn into like 31-28?
I would kind of
Nebraska in their 2 of the 3 games have scored nearly 60. Michigan in their 2 games outside of Oklahoma, where it was like pulling teeth really on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
They've scored 30 or more. This could turn into a shootout. And we're like, oh, hey, that was fun for 5 days talking about this game and how it was going to be played in a phone booth and it was going to be 24-20. And all of a sudden it's 31-28. So the line went up for Michigan 2.5. Did the total?
The total went up too.
Okay, so the totals went from 44.5, 45.5, you said yesterday, now to
46.5.
Okay. All right.
I told you I should have bet it on Monday. I loved 44.5. I knew it would go up 2 points. Now, I mean, it okay, but back to, not that we have to have a full discussion on it, and this is really, the segment has just turned into what I would be happy with and what I would be unhappy with, as if Nebraska football is trying to satisfy me. But 31-28, either way, win or loss, I would take as a win. Because the fact that they scored 28 points against Michigan, I'm like, holy crap! All right, this offense might be legit, and you could beat all those teams in front of you. And even if they were to give up 31 points, I would kind of sit here and tell you, Gary, man, I'm not fully surprised. I'm not fully like, oh my God, what happened? If you told me they were to give up 31, I'd be like, that's kind of, now I wouldn't say par for the course, but that'd be a little bit worse than what I anticipate they would give.
I think
up.
if you told a Michigan fan today, we're going to give you 28 points, they would take it in a heartbeat. They wouldn't even hesitate. They'd be like, I'll take 28.
If I told you I'd give you 28 for Nebraska right now, would you take it in a heartbeat?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would too. Would you assume?
Maybe that'd be a defensive or a special team score in there.
And are we of the agreement that if Nebraska were to score 28 points, you'd assume win?
Yes.
Okay. I am too.
I'd go like a 28-24-ish type game or 28-21.
How about 28-27? I want close margins of victory.
Are they driving to win or holding off?
Driving to win.
Okay.
God.
That'd be the script. All right, coming up a little bit later on the show, Steve Sipple will stop by. Also, Brian Edwards with his picks, a nice little juicy college football weekend across multiple conferences. Also, it is the NFL is back tonight, and it is a bad game. We have been lucky. We've been blessed with the sport of football. We've gotten some really, really good games, and now we're on a stretch of some dud primetime games.
What? You don't want to watch
Minnesota and Atlanta. Houston, Tampa Bay was entertaining. Chargers, Raiders was a slog. The Bills are a 12.5-point favorite tonight against the Mike McDaniel Miami Dolphins.
For now.
Yeah, I will say probably a good timeline would be November of him being an advisor in San Francisco. I think that would be. Even he thinks he's going to get fired.
Did you see what Tua said yesterday?
Yeah, they're a mess. They are the epitome of dysfunction. You look it up in the dictionary and you're like, oh, hey, there's the Dolphins. And I feel bad because they've got, loyal fans older fans that were there when they were good back in the 70s. And the Dolphins basically have been irrelevant.
Aren't they the underrated, historically bad franchise? And in the end, we always talk about the Jags and we talk about the Browns and we talk about the Bears, but I feel like we kind of scoot over the Dolphins in terms of they definitely should be.
And it's too bad. That's the sport in South Florida. That's the team, is the Dolphins. People care more about the Dolphins. Now, the Panthers have gotten a little bit of run because of their back-to-back Stanley Cup, but that's a Dolphins town.
Oh, sure.
And they're staring at 0-3. They're a 12.5-point underdog tonight.
I don't know.
It's got to be the largest spread of the year in the NFL.
12.5?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was one. No, it might be because no, I don't. I thought there was a double-digit spread last week, but probably I don't think. I think no. You know what? Ravens Browns was 11.5. That was the next highest one. So this is the highest spread so far. 12.
All right, Brian Edwards will be in. Maybe he'll have a thought or two on that. That's a lineup brought to you by the Roof Rees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Michigan week is closer. 2 days to helmets, and everybody and their brother's brother being in Lincoln that is in media. Packed.
Well,
people are bringing shows. People are bringing their friends. People are bringing microphones and cameras. Feels like a big game.
Tiny microphones, big microphones, small cameras, big cameras. They're all coming.
Matt Rule speaks later today, and John Cook gets a statue. So normal day in Lincoln. And we're off and running. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome in on a Thursday. Happy Thursday, y'all. I did wake up this morning not thinking about the helmets and wondering which combo Michigan will wear. Will they go back to the yellow pants or will they show up in blue?
I would like to see them in yellow.
I like the yellow.
I'm a yellow pants
I like
guy.
the yellow. I'd like to see the crisp Michigan uniform. This is a good helmet game. It's a good uniform game. It'll look good on CBS. I believe that CBS has the really nice 4K.
They do.
Okay.
They do.
And they are promoting the heck out of this game.
It's everywhere.
Uh-huh.
It's great. I'm a big fan of it.
So their pregame show is going to be live in the rail yard.
Whoa.
The CBS Sports Network pregame show.
In the rail yard.
Going to be in the rail yard.
Hell yeah. Like up on that. I would love to know the layout of what it's going to look like.
I think it might be very similar to when the Big Ten Network has been there.
Okay.
Where they're kind of outside Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Oh, all right.
So I think that's probably the most convenient spot if you're going to do a live TV show down there.
You could maybe do it like up on that stage, like right under the big old television screen like that, like because they run like concerts and stuff out. Like that's where the DJs go up there. So you might be able to put it right in the dead middle of the rail yard. Man, that's big. I'm so mad I can't get to go down to Lincoln for this game. I love Big Red Overreaction though. And you have your best minds on Big Red Overreaction. The 4-0 Matt McMaster. Trying to keep his streak alive. If Nebraska beats Michigan and I'm on BROR, there might be a movement to have me on every single Big Red Overreaction.
But aren't you already on every Big Red Overreaction?
I'm on 9 of the 12.
That's good. It's good. You're the good luck charm.
No Maryland.
I'm the one that you don't want on that show because I have a bad record, a horrible record.
Are you willing to tell what your record is?
I think I don't keep track other than I'd lost like 18 straight shows. I think I'm brutal. I think I'm 12 and like 51.
That is insane. Yeah. I mean, that's not it. I mean, maybe it is your problem. Maybe it is your fault.
Well, we're usually doing like the hardest games.
Yeah.
Where you're going to get the most off the wall people. So Nebraska wasn't winning those games.
Well, I'm off for the UCLA game, the Maryland game, and the Iowa game. So I think we should be okay if I am the good luck. Remember, Tony Osborne called me the good luck charm.
No. You're with Bishop this weekend?
No, Peterson.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The young men once again going at it. So.
Can't wait for your reaction to the game.
I don't think it's going to be as jokey Smurf as the Akron game was.
No?
No, I think
I'm there'll be vasectomy calls or
no.
Monty will be calling in.
I
did not hear Monty's call, but I've heard plenty about Monty's call.
Yeah. Monty was mean. Monty was a pain in the butt.
You know what? You know another thing that is different. This is a sign that things are different at Nebraska. And if you've watched the current team play, you're like, okay. And you've also said, okay, 2026, 2027, 2028, things look pretty good. You can actually see something. There's optimism, there's hope, there's actual physical stuff that you can look at and go, okay. I see what everything is coming together. There's another part of how Nebraska is different in this game. When was the last time that Nebraska played in a game that the quarterback was the epicenter of conversation?
Ooh.
A big game where Nebraska's quarterback was not just, they got Adrian, was the discussion point. And he is the front door to your program right now. Because I'll give you a little other nugget. And this is where the Big Ten is heading. Because the Big Ten is showing that you can recruit high-level quarterbacks. This will only be the 18th time since 2013 that you will have a matchup of quarterbacks that were the top 2 in their respective recruiting classes.
Really?
Yep. Only the 18th time since 2013. As you know, Nebraska has not been involved in those, but now they are because they have a quarterback that has the conversation. And, of course, the multi-million-dollar man that is coming from Ann Arbor.
So to answer your question, when was the last time? I would probably say Ohio State 2019 was probably the last time we were looking at a game. Because Adrian had massively high expectations in 2019
Mm-hmm.
after his freshman year. And I mean, even after the loss to Colorado, there still was plenty of optimism and hope of like, okay, hey, you're playing Ohio State. Hey, game day's here. Hey, Ohio State's like, this is the moment where like this team can break through. This is the Frost effect.
Let me throw a little caveat into
Go
that.
ahead.
Is two quarterbacks playing that in either 3 years or 4 years, you will see them in the NFL.
Maybe last year, Shedeur and Dillon.
Okay.
Because I think I for me personally, I don't want to speak on anybody else, but 5-star quarterback, second under DJ Lagway in his class, had the arm that he had, playing as a true freshman quarterback. I've always thought that Dillon is going to be a guy who's going to play on Sundays. And I think at that point, Shedeur was literally a mocked first-round pick when he came into Lincoln and was a guy that everybody was still talking about in college football as one of like its mainstay stars. But outside of that, I don't think I couldn't tell
Brian
you.
says, he goes, I disagree with the Adrian Ohio State thing in 19 because Adrian was not the spotlight. Okay. I don't really think Nebraska in 2019 had a spotlight. Like the spotlight is different. Like the conversation about Nebraska's quarterback is much different than like previous quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say like it's new, but to have like both quarterbacks who are the focal point of the game where it's, hey, if he does well, they win. If he does well, they win. I just know this. Bryce Underwood is scarier than Dylan Raiola is.
In what way? Just in big playability or just overall? How is he more scary?
I think Bryce Underwood could wreck a game plan better than Dylan Raiola can because of his legs and his improvisation.
Yeah.
I think Dylan is not as cowboy, so Dylan will play within the offense, and I think Dylan will play well. But just the off-script, scrambling, running, can't bring him down. He'll make plays with his legs. He is more apt to be comfortable playing playground where you're like, okay, we didn't plan for this, and all of a sudden you're wheeling and dealing.
I think Bryce definitely has more of a one big play ability than Dylan does. Like Dylan can't scramble for a 40-yard touchdown on a broken play.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Underwood can. I think more to your point. I don't want to put words in your mouth. How I would characterize it is like Bryce Underwood is a walking 7 points. Like at any point he can just be counted for 7. I think Dylan, we still really haven't gotten the answers on the long ball yet, but I don't agree with that because I just think that Dylan's just the better player.
Yeah, but I didn't say the better player. I said the scarier.
I just relate just the better player just being the scarier player. And I think that with Underwood, if you saw the one time he played a Power 5 team this year, he was 9 of 24.
I know. That's why. So when I say scarier, I say because Underwood is an unknown. Like I know what I'm going to get with Dylan. Okay, I know that Dylan's going to make throws. He's going to make some layered throws. Dylan's going to do NFL stuff. Okay. Bryce Underwood is probably a ways away from being, okay, that's NFL stuff. Bryce Underwood is probably we got to go a little playground. If I'm a defensive coordinator, that's the last thing I want. Okay. The design runs, I can handle. The passing routes, I can handle.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, there's broken plays and we're scrambling. And then it's a jailbreak. And you got a guy who has the ability to run all over the field. And I'm going, oh, okay.
But I think that, and I totally understand what you're saying, but also the bottom out ability though of Bryce Underwood and the mistakes that he can make and the precarious positions that he can put himself in.
Oh, certainly.
I think in a way negate that for me at times. Like I think just as easily as Bryce Underwood, I think Bryce Underwood could run for over 100 yards with 2 touchdowns against Nebraska. I think that is totally within his capability. I think what's also totally in his capability is for him to like look like a freshman and look startled and be bad and just not play well.
That's playing the 4th game in your career as a quarterback. Now, there are certain things that you look at and you go, yeah. By the time he's done at Michigan, he has some traits that he could live up to this unbelievable hype. But in a game like this, I think his floor and ceiling are a long way apart compared to Dylan, which I kind of know what I'm going to get with Dylan. I'm I'm not concerned about Dillon in this game.
I don't think I think after 3 games, you definitely know way more than what you did at the end of last season. I still don't. I wouldn't put myself at 100% of like I know what Dillon is and I know what Dillon is going to give me because he just hasn't been able to throw the deep ball against a Power 5 team yet. And I think that if he can do that, if he can force the ball 20, 25 yards down the field and be accurate, the sky's the limit. Like I've had this idea of like, oh, he takes a step this year and then he takes a bigger step next year and he ends up being a draft pick. If he's able to hit that deep ball consistently this year, he's already taken that step into where he would be next year.
Here is Kyle to finish the hour on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning.
Good morning. Would Dylan Raiola be starting at the 2 previous places he committed, Georgia or Ohio State? I would say no and no. I think the hype is coming to an end this weekend, and Michigan defensive line is going to wreak havoc, and it's not going to be a pretty day for Dylan.
Kyle, thanks for the phone call.
I think he'd be starting for Ohio State. I think he's better than Julian Sayin. And I think Gunnar Stockton and Julian Sayin look good because Julian Sayin is throwing to Jeremiah Smith and Gunnar Stockton's throwing to Zachariah Branch, 2 guys who very well could be playing on Sundays.
What a great pickup in the portal. Hello.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Georgia and Ohio State have much better respect to Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter, but there's levels to it. And those 2 guys are playing with and throwing to guys who are on a whole other level.
Okay, so Dylan's playing from behind because he doesn't have a Gus Johnson hype video, and he is not.
That was crazy. You don't like the East Side Undertaker?
Alpha Omega, East Side Undertaker. This is a fair question of is 5-star quarterback what we want and what Nebraska needs are different right now. But
yeah,
what would I should have followed up with Kyle. Like what could Dylan do in this game outside of winning that would convince you to change your opinion on Dylan? Because I think the opinion is very, very high right now on what Dylan is becoming and maybe what he can be.
Like,
I mean, it's tough to pick through what's happened in 3 games. Now, might change on Monday morning.
If he's the best player on the field, that will change everybody's opinion.
Huh?
That will change the people who have a negative opinion on him.
Also, he wasn't the best player on the field. Nebraska still won a game. That might be even better.
Oh, yes and no. I fight with that a little bit.
We'll discuss coming up in the next hour. Steve Sipple, Brian Edwards, still to come on 1620 The Zone. All right, coming up at noon today, we'll be out at Oscars at about 173rd and Center in the Lakeside Plaza. You know where Oscars is. We'll be there from noon to 1 with our round table, breaking down the Michigan game with no Michigan people, all Nebraska people.
Should we have gotten a Michigan person?
Well, we'll see. Maybe a Michigan fan will stop by. But it's a good time. We hope to see all of you there. It should be a lot of fun. The midday show and the afternoon show will both be there broadcasting live. So stop by all day and hang out at Oscars. Just don't have to hang out at Oscars at night. They're open during the day. They're open for lunch. They got great deals at lunch. So we'll see you there coming up at noon. So when you dream of a big game, and I don't know if you have dreams or not.
I do.
I woke up this morning not thinking about like Nebraska, Michigan, and what Rod Moore's return at free safety is going to do for Michigan, because there's some things they can do with him.
Mm-hmm.
Will Michigan be able to throw the ball against Nebraska? Will Nebraska's cornerbacks eat up their wide receivers? How will Nebraska's cornerbacks play when it comes to the run game? None of that stuff. You know what I woke up thinking this morning?
How much toast do I want to have today?
No, I'm off the toast. Okay, I'm on. We gotta.
What do you mean you're off of toast?
I'm off of toast for today. I'm on to something new. Is Sam Hoiberg is still playing basketball at Nebraska?
That's what I'm going to tell you right now. You could have given me 100 guesses. Never would have told you that that's what you were thinking of.
And I don't know, because it's the Big Ten announces their basketball schedules today at 3. So I woke up thinking about Nebraska basketball for some weird reason. And it was Sam Hoiberg is still at Nebraska. He's still he has not expired his eligibility. He's going to be on the roster once again. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it seems like we've now been there for a while. You know what? It's sometimes okay to go into the workforce.
Yeah.
But he has this is his last year.
Didn't he start there before even I got to Nebraska?
I mean,
are we both the same age? I don't know. I thought he might be older than me. But he
was not playing during the COVID year.
Okay. So he got in the year after. I mean, I should text him being like, hey, my co-host woke up thinking about you today. I mean, is it a good thing that you're thinking of, or like is it
no,
it's
just a very odd thing that Sam Hoiberg still is at Nebraska.
Was it
like, it just seems like he's played a lot of basketball the last couple of years, and he's finally a senior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Was it the very first thing that you thought of?
It was actually.
So wait, the Cubs make the playoffs.
Well, I was thinking about that yesterday.
Okay. Oh, so that was.
I took care of that. I took care of that when I wasn't sleeping.
Did you pop a bottle of champagne yesterday and celebrate with the boys virtually?
No, I was trying to again do the math. If I could go to a playoff game, I might wait for the next round.
Well, that was the beauty about going to Game 5 of the 2016 World Series. I don't go to that game if the Cubs are not down 3-1. Like if it was tied 2-2,
mm-hmm.
I probably don't go to that game because the tickets went down so much in price when they went down 3-1 that it like made it affordable, like to end up going to that game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good strategy. But unfortunately, it would have to be the Cubs are probably going to get eliminated, and then you could go to a game.
It would have been nice if I had woke up thinking about the Cubs, but I was thinking about Sam Hoiberg, just the fact that he still has eligibility.
He's gonna be a decent piece off the bench, right? Probably this year. Or are we?
Oh no, he will be.
Yeah. Okay.
Now he won't start.
Yeah, that would not be great.
No, he'll be part of their. They got some intriguing depth.
Yeah.
I was looking at was in the store yesterday, and the college basketball magazines are out.
Oh, I got to get that.
So the Lindy's has. It's not ranked masked. Who is it?
Oogie?
No.
Blue?
No.
Barricade?
No.
Lawrence?
No, it's not Jamarcus Lawrence.
Esijan? Sanford?
Esijan? I can't remember. But it's somebody that they didn't have to Photoshop a uniform on. And then Jackson McAndrew is on the cover of the local Lindy's.
Oh.
I think they have Creighton 3rd in the Big East. They have Omaha 2nd. And then they have Nebraska like 11th.
Jeez.
And I was just sitting there going through it.
Did you see where they had the cats?
No.
Okay.
I did not.
All right.
I was going to spend a lot of time. I was in the grocery store.
Oh, I thought you were at a Barnes & Noble.
No.
I feel like you are definitely that type of guy, by the way, that would go to a Barnes and Noble for 3 hours and read a full book and then put it back on the shelf and go.
More likely a magazine.
Okay.
I've done that in the past, and I take a lot of pictures of the pages. And
you take Gary.
I took pictures of a couple of previews yesterday.
Isn't that partly illegal? At least if you publish them, it's partly illegal.
Yeah, if I publish them.
Yeah,
but they're just for my own use to share amongst friends.
Wow, I didn't get any text.
I don't think you work for that program.
Oh, okay.
I was letting them know.
Are you giving them bulletin board material?
No bulletin board material, but just showing them where they were ranked.
That would be really funny if you if you would just text people and be like, "Hey, they're saying this about you." Who's saying that about me? Oh, I am.
Quick note here. Andy shares this. He goes, Nebraska fans should embrace Paul Meyerberg in all this discussion about Dillon being knocked and not ranked. Looking at Paul Meyerberg's USA Today rankings of current quarterbacks, this is how it goes. So he shares the article. Carson Beck 1.
Okay.
What if Carson Beck and Cam Ward are similar?
That would be crazy because
they got a lot of money for quarterbacks that are on their second stop.
But they'd be very different in the way.
Nico is on the phone right now to Mario. Like, hey, next year?
Hey, it'd be crazy because they would be very different, though, because Cam was like at Wazoo and was very much like hey, can you develop him into a better quarterback? And Beck was his career's like almost over. Can you resurrect it? And he's been able to do both.
And possibly put you into the NFL. Like if Miami starts getting big-time quarterbacks and they continue to develop their lines and recruit to their lines of scrimmage, that gets a little bit scary. But they still have Mario in key situations late in games.
That offensive line outside of Utah might be the best unit in the country.
John Mateer, number 2.
Okay.
Dante Moore, number 3.
I totally agree with that.
Dante Moore under Will Stein is OC, who UCLA will probably kick the tires on, and he should stay at Oregon for a better job.
Yeah.
That is a great combination. Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt, who is in search of his 7th year. You know what? Not everybody has to play college. It's okay to move on to the real life. But Pavia is a win over South Carolina. They could be unbeaten when they go to Tuscaloosa in the first weekend of October. And you know what he's already said about Alabama.
Yeah.
5, Dylan Raiola.
Whoa.
6, Julian Sayin.
Okay, wait. Where's Gunner?
7, Fernando Mendoza.
Whoa, where's Gunner Stockton?
He is 8th.
Okay.
Maeva, USC, 9th. Joey Aguilar, Tennessee, is 10th.
Okay, so
that's Paul Meyerberg on USA Today, his current quarterback rankings. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, 1 through 5 is perfect. 1 through Dylan's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1 through 4 is perfect, and then I would put Gunner 5 and then Dylan 6. And I would put Aguilar above. There's a quarterback you said in there. Aguilar above
Maeva?
Yes. Because Aguilar looked great against Georgia. And he looked really, really good in their week 1 game against Syracuse as well. I mean, Joey Aguilar is.
I'm surprised Marcel Reed is not on his list.
See that?
Top 10.
That's interesting.
Now, so this discussion about before the year and you're trying to figure out all these teams, I think some people thought UCLA might be a nice 5-7 team. The opinion on UCLA has drastically changed. Maybe you watched Minnesota, California the other night, and you thought, wow, Minnesota made some uncharacteristic mistakes, and Parrish made a fair catch at the 2-yard line late in that game. And you're like, maybe Minnesota, maybe my opinion changes a little bit of that. I wonder, and they've just played Purdue. They play Michigan State late night this Saturday. And they want you to come to the game, by the way. They have sent a letter out to everybody to say, hey, USC students and boosters, come to the game. It's kind of the reality, but it's also kind of embarrassing.
It is.
But Maeva looks more comfortable than he did last year. Now, granted, when Nebraska saw him, he was making his first start and then finished up the year. And he started to look like, this looks like a Lincoln Riley quarterback. He's looked pretty good. Like they're not afraid to go big boy arm, and he's like they're throwing the ball down the field. They have a nice collection of wide receivers. I wonder if people's opinion on the USC game has changed at all.
Oh, well, I mean, they are ranked now. And I think that USC was the team that you were you were more like 60-40 on, where you were like, okay, there is a world where they only go 7-5 and you're thinking Lincoln Riley isn't the guy and you move on, you try and find a different dude. But I think most people thought, based on just the talent that they had brought in, that they were going to be able to turn some sort of corner, and they've looked great. And I think Lincoln Riley we've taken a year hiatus, would you say, of him not having a superstar quarterback, whether it be Murray or Mayfield or Williams. But I do think that him being given a guy that doesn't necessarily have all the God-given ability is pretty decent for him. I'm thinking, can I go back to one thing we brought up in the first segment?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last quarterback that got snaps in the NFL for Nebraska?
Bruce Matheson.
Yeah, back in 84, that was. You brought up that conversation of like, when was the last time that like we had a game where you had two guys who could very well end up playing in the NFL on Sundays and like had that type of premier matchup? Could you go as far to say is that this might be one of the first, if not one of like 2 or 3 times where you've had a matchup like that, where it's like you truly do have a quarterback that is a top 5 guy that is like going to be NFL on Sundays, that you're pretty certain, like we at this point would all be shocked if Dylan Raiola didn't get drafted in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nebraska's had how many quarterbacks like that? Not many.
Well, not everybody can be Tanner Lee.
I mean, I just think that I'm just kind of putting more stakes into the when
they've made the quarterback room a priority. I mean, instead of an afterthought, it's a priority. With when you get one guy, you can't, when he's gone, you can't take a step back. So you get another guy, and then you get another guy, and then you get another guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that's coming in 27 might have a higher ceiling than the 3 that have committed or are playing here before it.
But my point is, I think that it is a really good indication of Matt Rule has done a very good job of keeping like the base roots and traditions of Nebraska and keeping Nebraska pretty Nebraska and a familiar program to the people who root for it and people who follow it, but has also done a really good job of adjusting to the current times of college football.
From the quarterback spot?
From the quarterback position. And just overall as a program, right? Like, I don't think people look at how Matt Rule runs the Nebraska football program and says, oh my God, this is completely different. And they are totally unrecognizable from what I've seen in the past. At the same time, they have done things and recruited spots and have invested in spots that
they prioritize the quarterback position.
Yeah.
I mean, look at we're sitting here going into week 4, and Nebraska has top 10 quarterback. And people are like, you know what? I wonder if they'll have Latif run some packages. Okay. I'm not taking my $3 million quarterback off the field, but you've seen for 2 weeks now that the future is bright. It's just prioritizing a position. You know, instead of, okay, we'll do all this other stuff, and then we'll just get a really good a quarterback that plays, that is an athlete that plays quarterback. Now you got a quarterback that plays quarterback. And that's the difference. And now, you know, you got to keep it going. So they've taken care of that room. I think that's the biggest thing. I don't know that that's a Nebraska thing, because it hasn't been. I think it's just Matt Rule is a smart guy that in a league where quarterback play makes the world go round, you got to prioritize it. So when you prioritize it, you're like, we got to go get the best.
But I think also too, on top of because Scott Frost prioritized certain positions, and like they're like coaches go ahead and they were like, hey, we want to make sure that we build the O-line, or we want to make sure that we put our resources to this, or we're going to put our best recruiters on that. But to me, I think the Matt Rule era and the year 3 Matt Rule has always been more about prioritizing and adding on a layer of development. And I think that has been probably one of the most encouraging things that you've seen through the first 3 weeks when it comes to Dylan. It hasn't necessarily just been, oh, he's playing tomato cans and he's just playing, like he's just throwing the ball around and making a bunch of mistakes, but we don't see it because Nebraska's just way better. You watch the tape, there is like the legitimate visual improvement of, hey, he is way better, in my opinion, way better. this year than he was last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the list of your worries in the big game. Now, I think he's going to turn the ball over. If Nebraska turns the ball over more than twice in this game, they're not going to win. But I expect Dillon one time will turn the ball over. Will it be a back-breaking turnover? Well, that's the difference. In the past, when the quarterback in Nebraska has turned the ball over, it ends up in the end zone. It's a back-breaking turnover. Is Nebraska built if you have one of those turnovers that the quick change defense gets on and they get the ball right back to the offense? This is a Michigan team that they're going to bring the house, man. Mm-hmm. They are going to bring everybody that is made the trip to Lincoln from Ann Arbor. Okay, they're going to try and throw everything at Dillon and see if he's really NFL ready.
Yeah,
I think he'll turn the ball over once. Will it be a fumble? Will it be an interception? I'd rather take an interception over a fumble because more likely it's a fumble. It's probably going to be in a good spot for Michigan to take over. But if he gets through the game and again no turnovers, then you're like, okay. But Michigan has taken the ball away 7 times this year, and they've even against Mateer twice. They've had taken the ball away twice or more in all 3 games.
He was
just to me. I don't know that I think it's just a smart coaching. Is you go out and you say we got to do something with the quarterback room, and also you said Dillon came along and fixed our mistake because maybe we weren't going to be this way. Because look at our quarterback room before Dillon got here. What that looked like. Again, the 23 season with the quarterback was the best thing that happened to Nebraska because it showed how bad it was and how much of a need. And Dillon came in and saved the day. And then Rule said, "Oh no, now we got to go." And they had Latif.
Yeah.
And then with Dillon, you get his brother. But the bigger one is what's coming in 27 when Trey puts his class together.
Well,
because you went and got, I think Rule. If I pressed him, I bet Rule would tell you he's better than Dillon and what he saw at this age.
Well, also too, I think the fact that you didn't have any of the legacy roots when it came to Trey Taylor, and Trey Taylor was just strictly hey, he just wants to play at Nebraska because he thinks Nebraska is the best program for him has been so impressive. But do you think you look at them as if they're limiting Dillon a little bit? Or am I characterizing?
No, they're not limiting
wrong?
Dillon. I think they're playing within the base of their offense what they want and what they need.
And you would like him to veer out a little bit.
Yes, but have they needed that?
No.
That's the question. Like it'll come, maybe they need it on Saturday, him to do something different. But right now he's doing everything they want him to do.
Sure. I think that I think will be the difference. Because I like that in a way that they've definitely told him, hey, take what's ahead of you and get the ball out quickly and don't be afraid to hit those under routes. And 2nd and 5 is awesome. Like I like that. Mm-hmm. And you are going to beat Minnesota and Northwestern and Maryland in that way, in my opinion, and UCLA. I don't think you beat Michigan the way that they beat Cincinnati.
Well, that's what I asked. Who was it yesterday? I said, how would you feel if Nebraska lost this game and they just dinked and dunked instead of taking some big boy shots? Now, I truly believe that they will take their opportunities. It's tough because they haven't had to overexpose Dillon or make him do something that, they've been able to score points and Dillon hasn't had to be cowboy. So I'm not buying that philosophy because we haven't seen where Dillon has had to be Superman. Dillon's just had to be a nice supporting actor, and you know what? Sometimes take the lead, and you're perfectly fine.
But I think that's exactly like if they're going to win 8 games, I think that's exactly what they need him to do.
Yeah, and to win the 9th will be the one game this year, whether it be against an inferior opponent when you're having a bad day at the office, or against a USC or a Penn State or an Iowa, where he is 374 through the air, 4 touchdowns, and Nebraska scores 40. And a big reason is because the right arm of 15.
See, but then I do think there also is the veering into you don't want him to necessarily get comfortable with being the cowboy and get away from some of the things that he was doing that made him successful.
Well, isn't that all about a communication though? If you have trust with your OC, and your OC is going to put you in the best position possible, and you guys are on the same page, and then also you have talent around you that you don't have to be the guy. You have pieces around you, which you just have to be the facilitator. You have to be the best point guard on the field that day instead of being the guy that comes in and scores 40.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nebraska right now is built to have a nice point guard who is the best point guard in the league.
I'm trying to think like when I agree with that, and I think if he could be the point guard, but then he can go and take it to the bucket when they need.
Yeah,
him
there were
to,
times. There were times where Steve Nash won an MVP.
Yeah,
and he was the best point guard in the league at the time.
But you got to take it to the rack in the red zone. I think that's just what the key is going to come down.
Run the ball in the red zone,
or pass the ball too. I mean, they've done a nice job passing the ball within the 10-yard line.
All right, a little bit later, Steve Sipple will stop by. Brian Edwards as well in this Thursday edition of Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, you have a roof that needs looked at. It's an older roof or it's been damaged by storms. There's one place to go. Moose Roofing. It is the MVPs of roofing in Omaha to take care of your most valuable asset, your home. This is how it works. I've seen it firsthand. Is if you're thinking, man, we got some leakage, we have an older roof. Even if you want to sell your home and you want to add to the value, Moose Roofing is the place to go. I know local contractor, you're like, no. A local contractor that has got a top-notch reputation, that's been in business for 30 years, doing over 15,000 roofs from Western Iowa all the way to Lincoln. This is how it works. You schedule an inspection. Guys like Sean Michael, they'll come out, they'll sit down, they'll get to know you. First of all, they'll get to know what your issues are, and then they will go through a thorough look at your roof. They'll get on your roof. They'll get in your attic. They'll talk to you about attic ventilation. Didn't even know that was a thing until I talked to Sean Michael. And you know what? They'll even bust out their thermo gear and the thermo camera so you can see everything that needs to be fixed, and they'll put a plan together. And then they will take it to your insurance company, and they will fight for you that you get everything covered, and then they will go to work. Top-notch communication from beginning to end. You'll be fully satisfied when it comes to Moose Roofing taking care of your roof. Schedule an inspection today, and for more information and to find out if Sean's going to be visiting your house, go to mooseroofing.com. All right, there will be a lot of reaction to what happens on Saturday. Of course, Josh and Matt will have big Red reaction immediately following the game. And then Sunday, you can wake up, wakey, eggs and bakey with Michael Severe and Severe Reaction every Sunday morning from 8 to 10 right here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Equitable Bank and Nebraska Medicine.
And I get to wake up and I get to watch the Chicago Bears probably end up losing to the Dallas Cowboys.
Whoa. We've already punched the clock for 0-3?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Can you guess how many teams since 2000 who have started 0-3 have made the playoffs?
What is
25 years.
Okay. I know that if you start 0-2, it's only 12% of the teams have made the postseason.
That has gone down. Actually, it used to be 13.5, and now it's
Okay.
12. Can you guess though how many teams who started 0-3 made the playoffs last 25 years? One.
Okay.
One team.
You don't think it'll be the 2025 Chicago Bears to make it 2?
No. Why? If they lose to Dallas, they truly do suck. Like I think they suck, but if
wow, how your tune has changed.
No, it hasn't. I told you 9
You were
and 8.
so excited for the season. I feel bad for you, and we're in the 0-2 club.
We are not the same.
But like you wait all year for your football team to play, and then when they start off poorly or they suffer a major injury, it kind of just. You were so excited for the Bears season.
I was.
You at one point had them winning 11 games.
I did.
And now you're just like
training camp happened. And you read, because I'm a sicko.
A lot of videos of Caleb.
No, I read the reports. Shout out Courtney Cronin, who did an incredible job this year, telling me all about why I should be so terribly worried about my football team. And then I changed my tune to 9 and 8 because Warren Sharp told me to. And then now they're 0-2. And then yesterday, my head coach told me that my team doesn't practice the way that a team that wins games should practice.
Do you think he wants to go back to Detroit?
No, I actually don't. I think this is exactly what he wants. I truly do think that he wants to build the team from a ground up and get paid $13 million to make an NFL franchise completely in his image. So I think he's fine. I think everybody else might be miserable.
The Bussin' with the Boys, which tickets still available for their show tomorrow night at Rococo Theater. They are every Thursday. They do the car wash with ESPN. Their partnership now with them, with FanDuel. Let's see. Luan is wearing a Bussin' Bowl T-shirt. Compton, who was on with Rule on his podcast, he is decked out in Nebraska gear.
Our mustaches they are the facial hair nowadays, right? I mean, it is. If you're gonna have facial hair, you're probably rocking a stash. I mean, I just feel like more and more people are just rocking stashes and just looking good with it. Am I wrong here?
I guess I've never thought of it that way.
I tried doing a stash.
There's just some people that don't look good with a beard, so they trim it and they go with the stash. Some people don't look good with any facial hair on their face, so they shave every day.
You looked fine.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
I didn't start growing a beard till I started working with you. This was never a thing. Well, I wanted to stop looking like a little baby boy.
Yeah, when you have no facial hair, you do look really young.
I look way too young.
But see, they look like you look distinguished with the beard.
No, I look like a grown-up.
Distinguished.
I look like an adult. I look like I pay my rent and I have a 401k that I put things into. When I shave, I look like trust fund baby.
Do you think as the big game is coming, again, Nebraska hasn't been a ranked team since 2016. Been a long time.
Been 27 games.
That Oregon team at the time we thought was really good. We were like, oh, okay, that's Oregon. That's Mark Helfrich. They're going to be crazy. And they kept going for 2, and Nebraska won the game. And you're like, ooh, here we go. That team went 4-8. I have not seen this. It would be really, really cool in Lincoln. Maybe not cool is the word, but it would be my connection to Wrigley Field. You know, the rooftops across the street from Wrigley Field, for the longest time, would have the AC countdown.
The AC countdown?
It was very prevalent on the rooftop that was out beyond the right field stands.
Okay.
In the year of the Cubs. Anno, I gotta think of my Latin here. How to
Anno Domini?
Anno Cantorium. It is it's Latin.
Okay.
It stands for the year of our Cubs.
Okay.
And then there would be numbers. You've seen this before.
I probably have.
Okay, so they would have numbers. After the AC, there would be 3 sets of numbers. There would be how long it's been since the Cubs won a division title, National League pennant, and a World Series. And it was great. And I wish I would have had somebody get a picture because in 2016, across the board, it was 0-0, 0-0, 0-0 after winning the division title, the pennant, and the World Series. Do you think that there should be a fraternity house in Lincoln that has the same thing outside? And one of those would be, in 2 days, it will be 3,290 days since Nebraska beat a ranked team. If they do not win on Saturday, the next time they play a ranked team and have an opportunity to break that streak, it will be well over 3,300 days.
Yes, somebody should absolutely do that. That is, did you see, we had a nice emailer. He emailed in and told us that there was a 1 in 3 million shot that Nebraska had lost all of the games to ranked teams in the manner in which they lost.
Yes, this is nearly impossible in what Nebraska has done to lose that many games in a row to a ranked team. You would think that you would trick one off. You would think that you would find.
Oh my God!
You would think you would find an Oregon along the way that would eventually finish 4-8, but at the time they were 2-0, and you're like, man, that's a really good football team.
Yeah. Well, didn't you catch? You caught the opposite last year. You caught a bad Colorado team, or a team we thought that was bad. You kicked the crap out of them, and then they ended up winning 9 games.
Yes,
but you can't count that. You
no,
can't
because
say
when you played them, they were not ranked.
They were not ranked. That's also too. Going through that list of all the games that they lost and like the win probability that they had, like the fact that the pendulum just never swung the other way. Like just at no point it just has ever been like, no, Nebraska is going to actually be the benefiter of a back-breaking mistake.
Well, you've also had, remember, everybody says, oh, 1 year you're going to have close losses and they're going to, they'll course correction. They're like, okay, following year, all those 1-loss games, they'll even out. They don't. Okay, I'm here to tell you, they haven't.
Wasn't that always the debate? Like, I'm not speaking on your behalf because we weren't hosting together, but the debate I would always have with people when they would say, well, they were 3-9, but they were actually an 8-win team. Or, hey, they were 4-8, but they were like 3 plays away from winning 9 games, right? And you're kind of sitting there, and I would always sit there and be like, hey, what was their record? 4-8. All right, so what are they? They're 4-8. If Nebraska football has proven anything, it's that positive regression is a myth. It doesn't exist.
Well, existing, I was very curious to read through, and there will be lawyers, and there will be
I haven't heard that one in
some
a while.
discussions about the one portal window.
Yeah,
that will happen in January. There will be no spring portal window. So for the families out there that love the spring game, will the spring game in college football be back?
Oh, because you can't do the whole.
You do not have
thing?
you don't have a spring portal window.
Yeah.
So it's a one-time deal, and your roster that's going to play in the spring game will be the same roster that you will have when the season begins because they can't play well, get showcased, and leave. Will the spring game be back?
In theory, it should be, right? I mean, because if your excuse was if that was your excuse, then yes, it absolutely should be back. We'll all be happy. We can all have Red Dogs in April and watch 4th stringers who may never play a down for Nebraska football go ahead and become the MVPs of games. It'd be incredible. Football's back, Gary. We're back to our roots.
Oh my gosh.
We just need the walk-on program to be back.
Technically, they are walk-ons.
Well,
they just happen to all have scholarships nowadays. Luke Lindenmeyer technically is a walk-on.
Isn't Wacker too a walk-on still? Derek Wacker, David, the guy who's on kickoff coverage.
Derek Branch?
No, Wacker.
Oh, okay.
Wacker.
Yes.
I think that's his name. I'm notorious for messing up names.
What was the last name?
Wacker.
Say that again.
Wacker. Are you waiting to say I hardly know her?
What did you what do you drive in downtown Chicago?
You drive on Lower Wacker. You drive on upper whacker too, but lower whacker, just keep your head on a swivel and try and get out. Lower whacker sucks. It is nightmare fuel. When you go to bed and you have some nightmares, whatever you might have nightmares about, I dream about being stuck in lower whacker.
Yes. So Nebraska on special teams has a Derek Wacker and a Derek Branch.
Okay. So it is whacker.
I think Derek Wacker, UTAN. That's where he went to high school.
Yeah, good call. So he's technically a walk-on.
Yes, but now everybody has everybody inside of the 105 is a scholarship.
Yeah.
But Lindemeyer is a walk-on.
I think I've called 3 different guys on this Nebraska football team the last walk-on. But bring it back. Only one portal window. We're back to our roots.
Yeah, but there's no more walk-ons.
No, I know.
You are, instead of being a preferred walk-on, you are a scholarship guy.
Hey, you don't have to pay for college.
That's a huge deal.
That is a massive deal.
That is a huge deal. Okay, so Colin just sent me a picture. God bless him. Of the billboard at Wrigley Field. He went in 2017, and it was all the zeros. He went to the back of the bleachers in right field with the rooftop in the background and took a picture.
Awesome.
This is fantastic. Thank you, Colin. Maybe we'll change that this year.
This is the streak breaking
Well, no, we
year.
won't. No, we won't, because they won't win the pennant. They won't win the division. Excuse me.
What is their record against teams above 500?
About 500.
Okay, that's good. I'll take that. I mean, they did a very good job of kicking the crap out of all the really crappy teams, especially at the end of the year. So it's called baseball, baby. Get it done. Hey,
I got dropping some baseball knowledge.
No, I'm not. You're a guy. You watched 120 games this year. I've watched 35 games this year. Okay. We don't have the same claim to the title, but just like they did on 120th and center during the playoffs, we can tie our bandanas together. Okay.
I mean,
diehard fan, extra casual. That's what I'm casual plus.
I ended a phone conversation yesterday because the Cubs game started at 11:30. I'm like, Cubs are starting.
No way.
Hey, they got off to a great start in the first inning. It was clinch day yesterday. I had to watch. And I also had to see if Nico Horner is going to, out of nowhere, win the National League batting title.
What? When is that? When is this happening?
Nico Horner. Have you not been following?
I look at, do you know what my relationship with the Cubs now that football season has started? Okay. I get a notification when the game starts. I get a notification when they score. I get a notification when the game is final. I look at my phone. I go, okay, we show up this show, and I look at you and I go, yeah, big win yesterday. Or, oh, tough loss. And you look at me and you're like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then you like break the game down. And I don't know if you notice, I just shake my head. I go, yeah. Palencia got hurt for sure.
So Trey Turner, who is nicked up a bit, still leads the National League in hitting. Nico is only 2 points behind. It's the most just off the wall, out of the wild. Nico Horner might win the batting title in the National League. Yeah. Nico's hitting 303.
That's when Tim Anderson kind of did that too.
Yeah.
Where it was just like,
I just hope that Nico sticks around a little bit longer than Tim Anderson.
Well, Tim Anderson doesn't know how to play defense. Nico Horner does. So I think Nico's going to be fine.
All right. We'll get more into Nebraska, Michigan. We get some comments from all of you. And back to something I threw out there. Can you have a must-win vibe, but it's not a must-win? Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. We're back with more Gary and Matt after this in 1620 The Zone.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Nebraska. It's easy. Just pick whether your favorite players to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. If you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1 this week on Underdog. I'm going to piggyback off of what Josh said. Anybody who's playing the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to pick to go higher. Yes, even the Chicago Bears this week, because my team is bad. They're going to be bad forever and ever. Amen. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code ZONE to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code ZONE. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
All right, as we wrap up this hour, you being the younger set, can you in about 60 seconds here explain this new trend when it comes to Twitter?
No clue.
About-
No, I know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
The new header?
Yeah. So I think this is a classic Gen Z comedy thing.
Okay.
I think Gen Z comedy is rooted in sarcasm and stupidness. Okay.
And I don't think that needs to be just Gen Z. I kind of like that world.
Yeah, it's like sarcastically stupid, right? Like Shane Gillis isn't like
He's a poster child for this.
yes, like
Okay.
that is what his comedy is. It's incredibly sarcastic and it's very stupid and it's a little raunchy, but you know how sarcastic it is. It makes it funny. That's what this is. Everyone wants to show funny pictures, and they're like, "Oh, how could I put this in my header?" You know, and like some people find that really funny. So that's what it is. This is the epitome of sarcastically stupid Gen Z comedy.
Okay. Because it is like a very popular trend the last few days.
Like
Nebraska basketball leaned into it.
all those. Oh yeah. Well, it's because all those people who run the Nebraska basketball Twitter
Are Gen Zers?
Yes. I will say with a ton of confidence that outside of the bosses, like because the bosses who run the social media for Nebraska are not Gen Zers, but they do have people, like a lot of people who actually run the Twitter account, who tweet who tweet out from those accounts that are Gen Zers. And they're very funny people. Some of them go, "Do you think this would be funny?" And I go, "Yes, that would be funny." And then it becomes a tweet.
We have an anniversary today. You were not born.
Yeah, like most things.
42 years ago today, the world changed surrounding a rock group. Would anybody like to guess? So September 18th, 1983, it was a huge moment in rock that happened.
There's no way. Is it the Freddie Mercury concert?
No, but you're kind of in the ballpark.
Okay.
On a side note on that, I don't know why I'm thinking of Farm Aid when you bring up Freddie Mercury. Bob Dylan is going to appear at Farm Aid in Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was like, whoa.
When is
Two
that?
things. One, Farm Aid still exists.
Well, the second thing is Bob Dylan still playing?
Yeah. I mean, you can't go away like that. They make a movie about you. Today is the anniversary of the first time that Kiss appeared without their makeup.
Oh.
J.J. Jackson, who was a DJ on MTV, they had a new album coming out called Lick It Up.
Okay.
It's a pretty good album, but it was the first time that they all showed up without makeup.
Wow.
42 years ago tonight.
I'm trying to see what would Bob Dylan. Well, there's some like Bob. You can go and see Bob Dylan for pretty cheap.
Bob Dylan had recently been on tour.
He still is on tour.
Okay.
You can go to Noblesville, Indiana at the Roth Music Center. I'm probably butchering that. And you can get in. Let me see here. I'm almost positive you can get in for $20. Come on, load. Come on. $20. Willie Nelson's going to be there too, and Sheryl Crow.
By the way, I used to collect Kiss trading cards.
What?
I collected Kiss trading cards. They had their own trading cards.
Do you have like a Gene Simmons rookie?
No, they were all very similar, but like you would have the group picture and then you'd have individuals.
Do you still have them?
No.
Oh, okay. I feel like that would go for pretty high on the market.
Yeah, but I wasn't taking good care of them. But I remember you'd go to the grocery store and they'd have Kiss trading cards. But tonight, 42 years ago tonight is when they showed up with no makeup and people went, and the whole lure of Kiss was over.
Real.
And then later in life, I got more excited about midget Kiss.
What? Excuse me?
Google it.
Okay.
We're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. This is not Mini Kiss, but they are mini. Mini Kiss was awesome.
I'm glad we're to Mini Kiss.
But crisscross, bang. But Mini Kiss, no, because they were a cover. I guess you'd call them a cover band, but they were midgets, and they would put themselves out there and they would perform. They were really good, so they would be just midgets that were played the role of Kiss.
You think they were a cover band?
Well,
they dressed
I think
exactly. Well, at least
on.
I don't. Let me look them up. Let me look up Mini Kiss.
I think I'm probably doing a disservice calling them a cover band. They
Well,
were.
what do you mean?
They were a tribute band. There's a
Okay,
difference
there you
between
go.
a tribute band and a cover band.
See, I don't know what the difference is, but I'll take your word for it.
A tribute band would play like maybe at Steelhouse,
Okay,
but a cover band would not
well-
come into Steelhouse and play.
they played at a baseball stadium,
And we had them in Fort Myers.
but they were at Comerica Park.
Uh-huh. The home of Kiss.
That's correct. Sorry. They were at Phillies
Okay.
So what-
Citizens Bank.
Citizens Bank. That is
not where
insane.
Kiss is from.
That
No,
is
they were.
crazy.
I just had to check because I hadn't heard from them in a long time, and I want to make sure they were still doing it, not retired, because they were a little bit older.
Sure.
And to pull back the curtain, I got to meet Mini Kiss without their makeup.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did they look like regular Kiss without
Well,
the makeup?
To be honest, I couldn't have a real conversation with them if they were wearing makeup. Okay, when we sat down to have the deets of how the show was going
totally
to go,
could.
no, because I'd have a lot of questions.
What questions? They're just men with makeup.
Yeah, but not all of them. So my original, I got to see them when they didn't have makeup, and then I had to go arrange some stuff so they could put on their makeup. But they were great to work with. They
So-
put on a great show. We took a pause from putting on midget wrestling,
Okay.
and so we wanted to continue the theme because it was very popular.
Well, you couldn't book Hornswoggle?
No, so we went with Mini Kiss.
Did you have the idea of WeLC before it happened?
No.
Or okay.
No. But Mini Kiss is really, really good.
They got one guy in Mini Kiss who's not that mini. You
You
know what I'm talking about? He's bordering. He's kind of tall.
That's a sore subject.
How is that a sore subject?
Well, because you can't talk about height.
You just called them midgets.
Yeah, but like they all, like if you're taller, you do fall out of the club. Like there is.
So am I going at his? I don't know how to describe it.
Well, like so you can't be you. I've had it explained to me, and it's not really good for radio. There is a limit on how tall you can be to be considered like a candidate to be in Mini Kiss.
So how is there a no? Oh, real? Whoa! Wait.
Yeah, you can't have somebody that they would go, oh, that guy's not a midget. He's like a real person. You just happen to be short.
But there are. Wouldn't you? What is the height for midgets? Sorry.
No.
But
But
real quick,
they if you've ever seen them,
It's
if you
4'10". So what? If you're as long as you're under 4'10".
well,
I
if
feel
you're born like a 5'1", 5'2", and I know who you're
Well,
talking about, the one guy in that
yeah.
group that's a little bit taller than the others.
not a little bit.
Yeah.
He is considerably.
Yeah,
tall.
I think it would ruin the bid if they were all like 4'10". They have to be like one of the guys is like 4'5". Yeah, he's a little guy.
I agree with that. But if
Yeah.
you're 5'1", you wouldn't be a midget. So then you couldn't be in Midget Kiss
No,
because
you-
you're not considered that.
You're kicked out of the union.
By the way, what if you're 4'11"? That's
I think they allow you.
is that
Yeah,
no man's
yeah.
land?
But Mini Kiss is really good. Like they put on a good show. They have all the pyro stuff. They kind of sound like Kiss.
They need
The
to-
guy that plays the role of Gene Simmons.
What
he,
jeans?
He does not have the same length of tongue, but he does.
obviously.
He does back in the day. Told me that he practiced on pulling his tongue to try and stretch it out.
J-Man types into the YouTube chat. I think little people is preferred.
Okay,
Little people kiss?
little people Kiss. They go by Mini Kiss.
Mini
People
Kiss?
that wrestle are midgets. I asked the question to Chris Little Cato, and he goes, I can't be a lawyer. I have to be a midget wrestler.
Whoa. Is that one or the other?
He goes, some people that are
Can't-
our height, he goes, they can be lawyers, they can be doctors. I can't do that. So I'm a wrestler, so I'm okay with being called midget wrestling. He goes, it's not for everybody.
Well-
Even midgets or little people are upset at the word.
Can't he just be?
Because I didn't know if I was how would I call him, and he immediately introduced himself as, he goes, "I'm going to be the toughest midget you've ever met." I was like, "Wow, this is right up my alley."
Isn't that David Otunga? Wasn't he a lawyer wrestler? That's just. I mean, that could have been his bit. Hey, the Miracle.
Yes, they no longer exist.
I'm aware.
They're called the Mighty Muscles now.
Okay. So we've been together now close to 10 months. Time flies by.
Mm-hmm.
And about every 2 or 3 months, you reveal to me like a promotion that you would do. Okay. We are now at midget wrestling, Tim Tebow night.
Did I tell you about Mike Tyson ear night?
No. Like there's got to be some sort of documentary on the stupid crap.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. We didn't consider it stupid, so thank you.
Okay.
It was genius.
Creative. Stupidly creative.
That's a good way to describe it.
What is Mike Tyson ear night?
So it was the anniversary of the night that
of Holyfield.
Yeah. So we gave out Play-Doh molded ears that had the blood on it to people that came into the game.
And they did what with them? They just put them on their mantle afterward?
I don't know what they did with them, but it was a great giveaway.
Do you still have yours?
No. I'm sure it's in a box somewhere. I kept a lot of that stuff when I moved here and left my office. Yeah, I had a lot of junk.
I imagine there's got to be just boxes and boxes of just incredibly, creatively stupid promotions that the Miracle had.
Predictions are rolling in.
Yeah.
Whoa, this kind of catches me off guard. Aaron says that he just saw Joel Klatt. His prediction on this game said Joel Klatt predicted Michigan 34-21.
That's weird.
I have not seen Joel Klatt's prediction.
That's not a Joel Klatt thing. Joel Klatt's a Nebraska honk.
He is very positive on Nebraska.
I think he's a honk.
I would be curious if that is his prediction, 34-21. He does not have faith in Nebraska's run defense, which is, I mean,
valid.
Rule has tried to build him up buttercup before the year. And then last night on his radio show, he talked about believing in them. The question is, do you believe, and not just you, Mr. McMaster, but everybody else, do you believe that Nebraska's defensive line can hold up and they can stop Michigan's run game?
I think that they have, it depends on what version of Riley Van Poppel we get. If they get the version of Riley Van Poppel that is playing to the standard, and isn't necessarily caught up on being exactly right every single time, and can play a little bit more free and can play like he did on that strip sack fumble against Houston Christian. And there are a couple good snaps against Cincinnati. Yes, they can do it. If they don't get that, it's going to be tough.
So this isn't a vintage Michigan offensive line, and that's been kind of their identity. They've had some great offensive lines. They don't have as much experience. I think they have this fivesome that'll play on Saturday has 27 starts together. And they are missing one of their key players, but he's been out. So it's not like he got hurt against Central Michigan. He's not playing. Yeah. 34-21.
That's crazy.
That's what Joel Klatt predicted. Thank you, Aaron. The one thing, there's going to be a lot of, is Nebraska's defense close to Oklahoma's defense? Can they do some of the things? If you go back and you watch that game, and really that whole game was like pulling teeth on both sides. It was not aesthetically a super pleasing game.
No.
Justice Haynes has the long 75-yard touchdown run. But outside of that, Michigan couldn't do anything. Underwood was confused. Underwood looked like a guy in his first road start in his second game of his college career. Now, Mateer played fearless, and Mateer ran the ball.
Yeah.
He had success running the ball, but outside of him, nobody else did.
No.
But one thing Oklahoma did defensively in that game is they clogged a lot of lanes.
Sure.
And that's Venables with that defense and the game plan that he had against a freshman quarterback is they also sacked Underwood a couple of times. They had 8 tackles for losses. And the other thing that will be key for Nebraska is tackling.
Yes.
Oklahoma didn't miss a lot of tackles. Now, Michigan wasn't able to get outside very often, so they spent trying to just run into a wall. But when they would have any room, Oklahoma was a great tackling team. But Oklahoma clogged lanes. There were very few clear lanes for either Underwood or Haynes or Marshall to run in. And is it a Nebraska will stop Michigan's run because physically they can do it, or will it be because of a scheme dialed up by John Butler?
So,
because I think it was a little of both for Oklahoma, and I don't know if Nebraska's equipped to be able to succeed in both.
I think they should go with a 4-man front, or maybe mix in a 4-man front a little bit. And I think it stems from what you talk about with the clogging the lanes. And it seemed like Oklahoma, and you could correct me if I'm wrong here, but it felt like Oklahoma was just only one good play away on defense from getting Michigan off the field. Like they only needed to get one tackle for loss, or only needed to stop them for a no gain once. And then they could go and bring the house and confuse the heck out of Bryce Underwood and get off the field. I thought the 4-man fronts with Winery and Lenhart were the best combinations of guys I had out there against Cincinnati. And when you couple in Davis, like when those 3 guys were out there and they were planted, I thought that was their best rush. I think that you very well could end up seeing them, like you talk about, trying to plug those gaps and putting 4 down linemen plus a jack. And I think that'd be incredibly athletic too.
Well, and there will be part of, can Michigan run against a stacked box? Because I think Nebraska will tiptoe and they will play with a stacked box if Underwood can't complete a simple pass. I think we'll see this. I think Nebraska is pretty confident defensively. I also don't think they have a lot of respect for their wide receivers, and why not? They've had 9 drops. They've only had 1 touchdown from wide receivers. Now, the 2 tight ends, Klein and Hansen, are going to be a problem because Klein appears to be the safety valve for Underwood, and he's about 6'6", 250. Looks like, hey, here's another Michigan tight end that'll end up in the NFL.
Yeah.
But their wide receivers, they're not. If Underwood had just one of Ohio State's wide receivers, he would look a lot different. He does not have the kind of skill guys on the outside that elevate him. So does Nebraska just mug those guys, and then they stack the box a little bit, and they make Michigan run the football?
I think that would be a viable game plan because Bryce Underwood is not comfortable in the pocket.
No,
it is a little startling, Gary, like how twinkle toesy he gets. He does. He like shuffles his feet and he like moves for no reason and he doesn't set a base. And I'm not going to make the claim that he's lowering his eye level and he's pulling the ball down too soon. But I get the sense that there is a bit of relief when he goes, "Oh, all my guys are covered. I get to run now."
Yeah.
Like that is grounds. If you catch that in the first couple of waves of drives and plays, they should do exactly that. They should because they have the cover corners. They got Marshall. They got Sierra Wright. They got guys where they can say, okay, hey, you know what? We're not necessarily going to put you on an island, but we're not going to give you as much help over the top as maybe you're accustomed to. And we're going to bring Deshaun Singleton a little bit down more in the box here. And we're going to have Deshaun with his big body and his physicality come and wreck lanes. Like, but I don't think you enter. Would you agree? You don't enter with that game plan. You adjust to that game plan.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a pretty easy way of like, if you go in thinking that or trying to play that way, what if Bryce Underwood, and we talk about his floor to his ceiling, like what if he just steps up and he is just that guy that day?
It's scary. I mean,
he can do it.
He can. There's a lot of like things you see that are like, he's going to be good, but now we're still talking about the 4th game.
He's going to be really good. He's going to be very like Dylan Raiola, better quarterback. Not moving off that. I don't think there's a whole lot you could tell me that could ever convince me that Underwood's a better QB. Underwood is way better though this year compared to where Dylan was as a true freshman.
So in comparison, the 4th game last year was what, Illinois?
Yes. He can just do more with his feet. He's just a better athlete. I think there's just more options. I think Dylan last year, we were begging him to run the ball through the first 6 weeks of the season. And then he finally did it and they nearly beat Ohio State. Where it's like Underwood, it's like, all right, maybe you're not the best passer, but at least you can do something.
Couple other little notes here before we get to Nathan and Scott. Against Oklahoma, there was 46% of the time they pressured Underwood.
Okay.
So they sat and they clogged stuff. So he was 2 for 10 under pressure. Then Central Michigan pressured him only 23%, and he was a 64% passer. He also, something changed, is their depth of target got a little bit deeper.
Okay.
So they were 12 pass attempts where they were 12 or more on his depth of target.
So 2 of 10 with pressure against Oklahoma.
Mhm.
That means that he was 7 of 14 without pressure.
Yep. And he was 74. He's been 74% this year with a clean pocket.
I mean, I do think that Nebraska is going to have to get more of a pass rush than they have before if this is going to work out for him. Like Waneri is going to have a pretty similar game that he did against Cincinnati.
Well, and if you're following along the Oklahoma model, yeah, they had 2 sacks. When you get near him, you've got to get him down.
Yeah,
That's something Oklahoma, they got to him a lot, but there were times where they didn't get him down and he would get out and not necessarily make a play. It might be an incomplete pass, but they had times to bring him down. Like they were in the neighborhood and they couldn't get to him. And we've seen that a little bit, like against Cincinnati. Nebraska was able to get in the neighborhood of Sorsby, but they weren't able to get him down. So in this case, if you have a chance, you have to get him down, because then what happens? Okay, we're scrambling, and it is a fire drill.
Well, another thing too is how many times did Sorsby get wrapped up and then fall forward for 5 yards? Like you got to plant them where you plant them.
All right, here is Scott on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Well, good. Hey, love the conversation. A couple things that have just come to mind thinking about the game. We've all talked about the crowd. We've seen veteran quarterbacks struggle in that stadium just with the noise factor. And I know they played in Oklahoma. That's a loud place. But I would go back to Sanders last year. Just absolutely looked rattled beyond the scheme. But the crowd was a factor. So I'm encouraged by that. And number two, something I've noticed about Dylan that at least appears, I see him being more sure about taking what's there instead of forcing what's not quite there. And I see him being happy with the 6-yard route, the 7-yard route, and getting into second and short and 3rd and 2 instead of trying to force longer balls. And I think if we can do that, stay out of long situations and stay underneath a little bit, then you'll be able to stretch the field. So, and I love his confidence factor this year. He doesn't look like he feels compelled to make highlight plays, and I think that's a big deal, especially in games like this. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Scott, thanks. Said this on Monday. He is also he's been able to stand on his spot. Cincinnati wasn't able to get him off his spot. So he's been clean most of the year, almost all the year in the first 3 games. So credit to the offensive line. But he hasn't been stressed. He is more comfortable handling pressure and moving the pocket or moving himself. But there are a couple of times, if you go back to Cincinnati, when Cincinnati got near his feet and he had to make a quick decision, there were almost, in your category on PFF, almost interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, turnover-worthy percentage plays.
That's why I think Michigan will just bring a lot of stuff. They'll throw stuff at him.
Yeah.
And see, this is your path to the NFL. If you're sitting there and you're up in the row behind where most of us sit in the press box, and that's the NFL guys, and you're thinking, all right, Dylan has 21 more games to play in the regular season as a quarterback at Nebraska. Okay? You don't want Dylan here as a senior.
No.
Yeah, time to go and pursue the dream. This is one of those games because you're going against an NFL defensive coordinator who doesn't have NFL players, but he has guys that could be NFL players, but he has an NFL mind and he's played against quarterbacks, so he knows what to throw at him. And Wink Martindale if I'm judging Dylan on his path to the NFL, this is my first game going, okay.
Oh, I like that.
We're sophomore.
Wow.
All right. Let me make that note.
Yeah.
I still have 20 more games to watch him in the regular season, but we're facing an NFL defensive coordinator.
I haven't thought of it like that, like as if the first 13 games of the season and the first 3 games of this season have been the preparation for building your draft stock. Right? Now, I would say that the number one thing that I was concerned with, and you were along for the ride with this too, was the mobility within the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he had in all three of the games some side steps where he just goes shoop, shoop, little left, little right. Like credit to Glenn Thomas and quarterbacks coach and whatnot, like for helping and his own personal quarterbacks coach as well for like helping like develop that. If that continues, he is a first round draft pick.
And this is a football term, and you say this, and you're like, oh, I gotta get credit for saying this. The game has slowed down for him. That's pretty clear.
Yeah,
but he also has an OC who, again, they're on the same page.
sure.
Like the play sequencing makes sense this year.
It makes so much sense.
Like there's no out of pocket play call where you go, whoa, they've stayed on schedule. Now they're going to get knocked off schedule. That's what we don't know.
Sure.
They didn't if you go back to Cincinnati, there were not many times where they got knocked off schedule. Okay, they stayed in the second half a bit. And early in the game, the first couple of drives, they're trying to figure things out and what everybody could do. But they haven't gotten knocked off schedule where all of a sudden you've got to go, okay, I know we only script the first 15, but we basically script the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that ain't working. Now we got to go. We're now behind the sticks. Nebraska hasn't spent much time behind the sticks. That's also helped.
So we talked about how good the third downs were. The third down yardage was in that Cincy game. It was a lot of 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. But isn't it almost like when they do get a false start that they have like a re-rack script for 2nd and 6 as opposed to being 2nd and 1? Like that's what you're talking about, experienced coordinators.
Here is Nathan from OHIO.
Hey,
bye week for the Buckeyes. Hello, Nathan.
How are you guys doing? I am on a golf course right now, and Gary, I have you to thank for this.
Okay.
Well, 3 years ago, you said that being a golf coach at a school was like the best job ever. And I filed it away in the Rolodex, and my school put a posting, and I was like, I could coach girls golf. So here I am in a tournament on a girls at a girls golf tournament.
Can I ask a question? Like, what qualifications do you have? Do you play a lot of golf?
I am excellent at coaching golf. Playing golf, not so much.
Okay.
So
you guys state champions.
I'm literally the epitome of those who cannot do coach. So
that's awesome.
Okay. How is the team? How are the ladies?
They are doing their best and improving.
That is fantastic coach speak.
Yeah.
A+. That is right out of the coaching cliche Bible.
Are you only coaching?
We just take it one hole at a time.
Are you just controlling the things that you can control?
Absolutely. We can't affect the weather, different environments, getting in our head, breaking up with boyfriends, like all that stuff. We can't control that.
That is so
now
true.
That is real world right there.
Yeah.
I understand real quick here. You had a issue with our toast conversation.
Well, being anti-toast is kind of a non-starter for me. I'm a little disappointed in young Matt. I did go on a little bit of a rant in the voicemail. I called him, I believe, I said his take was Akron.
Nice.
He was being an Akron hole.
Wow.
And that, dare I say, he was a uncivilized Akron eater.
Whoa.
For his anti-toast.
That's
take.
A new one. I've never been called that before.
Wow.
Subtitles of my honeymoon. Anyway, so
all right.
All right. See you, Nate.
Yeah. I like your family. That's probably a little bit too much info. Hey, good luck today out there.
All right. Thanks.
See ya. I'm not anti-toast. I'm not anti-toast.
I didn't say you. That's
you
Nathan.
No,
That's
you didn't
Nathan.
say anything, which was, your non-words count for 1,000.
No. I mean,
you made that look.
I'm past the toast. Today will not be a toast day. Today will be good food out at Oscars. We'll be there at noon for the round table. As we go to break, think about this. Okay. We've started to go through so many different things about this game, of breaking it down. There are 2 names that have very rarely been mentioned. They're going to play prominent parts in this game. Ernest Hausman and Emmett Johnson. Steve Sipple is about an hour away. Brian Edwards as well. And Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Football's back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Nebraska. It's easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. If you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1 this week on Underdog. How about tonight? Bills and Dolphins. Dolphins suck. Mike McDaniel, probably not going to have a job by November. Bills are good. They're going to do a lot of things. Josh Allen and James Cook will do lots of things. And download the app today. Sign up with promo code ZONE to score $50. Bonus funds when they play your first $5. That's promo code ZONE. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
All right, within the next hour in Lincoln, this is aside from the big game at Memorial Stadium. The NSAA is having their September Board of Directors meeting where they will discuss the proposed ruling to change scheduling in Class A and Class B. I cannot speak on B, but the Class A thing will pass. Probably 7-1 is my prediction. So in the next hour, there will be some stuff coming out of Lincoln that could benefit some schools around here that need some help when it comes to scheduling. So that is going on in Lincoln at the NSAA meeting. We will be at Oscars today out on Center, how about 173rd and Center in the Lakeside Plaza. We'll be there for a roundtable beginning at noon. Connor Happer Show and USC will be out there all day, 10 to 6. So we hope to see you. And then stick around and watch the Bills and the Dolphins.
Oh, yes.
Or-
This would be such a great game.
Or watch yours truly, TV tonight, Waverly and Elkhorn. Just go there when they open and just stay at Oscars all day.
Is there a DraftKings pick 6 on your high school games?
No.
It's the only thing keeping me in this Dolphins-Bills game. It's the only thing. They got a special if you got over half a yard. You can bet Josh Allen to pass over 1/2 yard. So that's a free
They might
leg.
score 40 tonight.
I don't know about that. I do think Miami showed some nice signs of life against New England. They nearly won that game.
Do not backtrack. Do not, couch your little comment there. I just want to remind you that the Dolphins struggled against Daniel Jones and Drake
Okay,
May on
but-
defense, and they got injuries.
So
And the Bills are averaging over 500 yards per game.
I do want to say, I think the Colts are for real. So I don't think it is a bad mark. I don't think it's a bad mark on Miami at all that they lost to the Colts because Daniel Jones is top 10 in nearly every single quarterback statistic category through 6 weeks. Shane Steichen is one hell of an offensive coordinator. Tyler Warren has become an incredible safety valve for him. And Jonathan Taylor is your leading rusher and scrimmage yard leader through 2 weeks.
They might score 40. That is a team that is circling the drain, that has a quarterback that their vertical passing game is non-existent.
So do you think the line should be more than 12.5?
No, because it's the NFL.
Yeah.
Because there's pros playing.
I'm honestly kind of tempted to bet Miami, but I don't think the sports book is going to have any sort of action within this.
There's a lot of people that are picking the Bills as your survivor pick, but I'd rather use the Bills later in the year.
I got to submit mine. Dang it. I already have. You submit yours already? You still in yours? You still in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Nice.
I'm looking at possibly the Buccaneers.
Okay.
I could use the Chiefs, but I think I want to save the Chiefs. Seattle over New Orleans is a popular one this week as well in any survivor pool. All right, Steve Sipple's coming up in the next hour. They are honoring, so there's still, people are wondering, is Bud going to be there? Is Bud going to be there?
Mhm.
They announced yesterday here in Omaha that Bud will have a parade on the 27th at 10 a.m.
Okay. Nice. We'll be there.
They'll be navigating all of the construction in downtown Omaha. And then I think also this morning there will be an announcement. 27th is going to be Bud Day because they're going to have a parade,
Mhm.
and then they're going to have a big party
Hell yeah.
in downtown Omaha, which will be announced later this morning. And we're letting them announce it, but we will tell you about it when it is announced after 10. But it will be a way that you could hang with Bud.
Okay.
You can hang with Bud. So we don't know if Bud's going to do the tunnel walk. Some people have said, hey, let's save it for the USC game because we got the 95 guys that are coming back.
No.
And when they did the anniversary of the 25-year anniversary of the 95 team, the
Mhm.
greatest college football team of all time, it was very underwhelming.
Yeah, it was 20. Was it COVID? When did they do it? What was the game? I don't remember. Did they do it in 21 or 20?
They did it in 21.
Okay.
So a little bit had to do with Frost.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of guys that were on that 95 team, who Frost was on that 95 team as well, were not huge fans.
Mhm.
And so they didn't come back or did not participate. they've gone out of their way to make the 95 team feel welcome.
Nice.
Like there will be more signage. There will be more things about the 95 team that will be happening. So I thought about this question, and we don't have to answer it right now. This can be something that can carry us until 10 o'clock on Friday. One player off the 95 team in their prime that you would take and put on this roster, and it would take Nebraska from where they are now to a bona fide playoff team. One player off the 95 team. 95 team.
No, I mean, I'm getting a full reference. I want a full reference. Because
one player off the 95 team that you could take and put on the team that is playing now 30 years later, that would be a game changer.
Because I immediately think of LP, right?
That is a good one.
And like
that would be mine.
And that is just like, that's just kind of simple. But and I'm not comparing LP to, Emmett, right? But if we're going off of the like, what are the team needs of Nebraska?
A running back like that playing today would be an absolute game changer. And he's the greatest running back that's ever played at Nebraska.
No, that's why I just looked up the roster.
But there's also a couple of defensive guys that could wreak havoc that you would love. This is a conversation when we go with nostalgia and we go, man, that team was so good. Is that LP is going to be like the predominantly number one pick.
Yes.
But then there's other guys. Tommy might not even be like one of the second or third guys you pick, but I'm thinking also defense of some of the rush ends, some of the defensive linemen, some of the DBs that you could take and would turn Nebraska into a certified playoff team. But LP is the first one that I immediately thought of. To have that kind of a running back playing today with running with that much anger and skill, and it wouldn't matter the offense.
No. And you could,
and those kind of running backs, and that LP was, those kind of running backs have not existed consistently in college football.
God, no. No. The combination, let's just be honest here. If we're talking about the last 10 years of running backs, the combination of speed and power is not there. It is really either one or the other. You get Cam Scadaboos, who just have all the power, or you get blazers, like, kind of Ezekiel Elliott was a bit of a blazer.
I mean,
like
could you
Sproles
say that, and he's, much larger, Derrick Henry is the closest thing to LP in the last 30 years?
What I was going to say is the only guy that I can really think of that had that true combination of one and the other was Derrick Henry. I think that is the closest comp that you can have. And Derrick Henry, much like LP, to what you mentioned, you can literally just put the ball in his stomach and you have an offense.
Frank says, he goes, this is a fun experiment. He goes, what do you think the line would be between the 95 team and the 25 team?
95 minus 24? 21? Am I being
95 minus 24?
24 points. He said the line, the spread?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the 95 team would be favored by 24
I thought you
points.
said 95 minus 24.
No.
And I was like,
no. Well, that's exactly what I said, but I should have said it as the 95 team favored by 24 points.
Here is Tim. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, gentlemen. I would say Mr. Hybrid Farley or Mike Minner.
Those are both good calls.
They could play any position on the defense. He could play rush end, or they could play the hybrid linebacker and run anywhere.
So that's a great.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim, that's a great call because somebody emailed us during the offseason and said that they would love to have Terrell Farley on this team because of just how much of a havoc record he was and just how he would just be everywhere across the field at all times. And the 3-3-5 kind of embodies that in a way. I think that's a hell of a shout.
Well, we've been searching like around here we were talking about the next Randy Gregory.
Sure.
Okay. You went from the stretch of the great rush ends, like the Grant Wistroms of the world, a la that time, to Randy Gregory. And when Neri shows up, and what are we saying? Oh, Nebraska has a Randy Gregory.
Sure.
For the first time in over a decade.
Yeah. Would you?
But another thing about Farley, who will be there on Saturday, is he was also a menace on special teams.
That would be great too. I was going to say if we were doing the 97 team, I was going to 97 98 team. I was going to say Jay Foreman, but he was only a freshman on the 95 team.
Here is Chris in Vegas. Hello, Chris.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Hey, who I would pick, first thing that came to mind, after you've gone through all these names listening, you can kind of change it, but I'm still wholeheartedly Grant Wistrom, because the havoc that he would put on the offensive line and against the quarterback and everything. I just think he'd be so awesome on this team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Something they're missing, a spark.
Chris, thanks for the call. This is the good conversation because it just, again, reiterates how good the 95 team was.
They were great. I mean, they're
greatest team in college football.
Yeah.
Here is Eric before the break. Good morning, E.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, one guy that would solve our one glaring problem, Lawrence Phillips.
Yep.
You put Lawrence Phillips in there, Emmett can just sit on the bench and hand him his water. And if we're going 95 as far as spread, I shoot him 35 points easy. 35 points easy, that they wouldn't be able to stop the run. So, yeah, Lawrence Phillips would solve a lot of problems.
Eric, thanks for the phone call.
Wistrom would be my pick. And I'm not saying that Phillips obviously it would be a great pick too, but they need D-line help. They need D-line help more than anything.
You could go with Jason Peter. Or
good one
Jason or Christian. There also is, along the lines of Grant and Farley, Jamel Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just rush end that is not 260, 270, but is like kind of how I think they want to go with those guys. Like 240, like the jack position, which eventually I think the jack position will be the position at Nebraska. Like if you want to get to the quarterback and you want to get to the NFL, you'll come to Nebraska and play a jack position. But like the guys that were built like that were fast, twitchy, but they were not huge, I think 260, 270. They were in the range of 240, 245 around then.
If you want to go the strategy of like, let's just pick the best player to like make the team the best, you pick Lawrence Phillips. I think if you want to fill a need, right, you pick one of those defensive linemen. But if you also just want a great fit into a defense, like Terrell Farley into a 3-3-5 would work so well. He would, like what they would do. Like I imagine some of the things that like they kind of do with McCullough, like moving him around, like the way that they do, like they could do that with him too.
All right. When we come back, we'll get to some questions here on the old Twitter machine and also on the stream and email. Steve Sipple's coming up in the next hour. We'll get his thoughts. Has he publicly made a prediction on Nebraska, Michigan? I'm still surprised. Klatt, 34-21 Michigan.
That's not like him.
Did he only do that because they are not in Lincoln?
I don't know. That's so unlike him, though. He's not a...
You've labeled him as a Nebraska honk.
He is a Nebraska honk. He's been honking on Nebraska for the last 3 years.
Hasn't he been dogging Michigan?
Yes, very much
Maybe
so.
the rap, the Bryce Underwood rap from Gus Johnson has swayed his opinion about how good Michigan is.
You know what? Maybe he's trying to hedge his bet. Like maybe he's gonna pick 34-21 Michigan, and then if Nebraska wins, he can go, look, I've been telling you guys in the preseason, year 3 Matt Rule. And he'll do like, no, seriously. Maybe he's playing that way. They're always playing the numbers.
Also, Brian Edwards, who plays the numbers, he'll join us as well before we're out of here at 10 on 1620 The Zone. Sure, if you asked Farley if he could give you a couple of snaps on Saturday, he would tell you he could.
I think he would.
Depending on what day of the week it is.
How stretched out is he?
So this question about one player off the 95 team that you would place on this team and would make them immensely better. LP, who Derrick Henry and Adrian Peterson, the closest to LP in the last 30 years in terms of the style. Adrian was built, Derrick Henry was much larger than LP, but in terms of running with ferocity. But Adrian Peterson probably in terms of the size.
Oh, yeah.
The similar. And then Farley. Nebraska hasn't had, in 30 years, they haven't had really anybody that's been close to that.
Not even close.
Especially on the defensive side with Farley, that could do the kind of things he would. And you were alluding to it. In this style of defense that they play now, just that kind of linebacker with the speed.
Yeah.
And also just go make a play.
Yeah.
One thing I was the story that's told about Farley is he, like Levante David early in his career at Nebraska, didn't necessarily know what they were doing. They were just out there playing.
Yeah.
They would see the ball, they'd go get it. They were so they were so fast off the line of scrimmage that they could beat somebody. And next thing you know, they're in the backfield. They know what to do then is go tackle them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Levante David, his first, and I think this is very much a public story. He said he had no idea what he was doing. Like the first 3-4 games, he didn't know the plays.
Really?
He was just out there making plays.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think Nebraska has and this staff, I want to credit the staff. The staff has done a good job of getting those types of athletes. Like, I think we're just power ranking off of terms of the athletic ability of what this roster has compared to what years past has, right? Like this roster is one of the more athletic ones. Like, I don't know. I kind of look at, and I'm not saying Dawson Merritt is going to be like Levante David. And I'm not saying that Dawson Merritt is doing that. Like Dawson Merritt doesn't know what he's doing. But Dawson Merritt and Vincent Shavers remind me of those two remind me a little bit of that style of player where they're just so physical and they have such speed and game speed and ferocity where it's almost as if they just put themselves where the ball is and then they just go and make plays pretty consistently. Like, especially with the 3-3-5 is all about just covering grass. You need athletes like that who all they're just going to do is just run around and lay the wood. They're like that. I love Dawson Merritt. I've loved what I've seen from Dawson Merritt the last couple of games. I would take LP though. I think it's pretty obvious. I
I would take him every single time to carry the football. He is. There are in person, where I was close to the field and could watch them play. Not like in the stands, but actually on the field. Lawrence Phillips in college. And I said this when I saw Noel Devine play in Fort Myers at North Fort Myers High School, who is the greatest running back that I've ever seen. They would make noise when they would run by you. Like Noel Devine, because I was covering high school football for the Fort Myers News Press. And so you go and cover a North Fort Myers game, and you'd stand on the sidelines instead of sitting in the box. And Noel Devine would come flying by you, and he would be making a noise. Not him grunting or anything, but as he ran, it would make a noise. And it was almost that way with LP. LP would make a noise when he ran by you. When he had the long run against Michigan State in 95, I was down in that corner of that end zone, and he went flying by, and I swear it sounded like a train.
That's insane. Now, is there running back right now like that in college football where you could just put the ball in the stomach and you're like, that's our offense? Maybe Hardy out of Missouri is playing that way, but he's not proven enough.
You know why I'm going to say no?
Why?
Because I'll give you a weird stat.
Okay.
Look at all the years that end in 5 when it comes to the Heisman Trophy.
Okay.
There's a running back there.
Sure.
There isn't even, we went through yesterday.
No.
Heisman Trophy candidates 3 weeks into the college football season. Was there a running back on that list?
No, there wasn't. And
not even 10th.
No.
Not even 9th or 10th.
Gary, not even 15th. Jeremiah Love is completely out of the conversation after the fact that Notre Dame just hasn't used him nearly as much as we thought that they would. Maybe he'll have a resurgence when they play an easier schedule. I really don't think there is a guy where you could just say, hey, go ahead. Here's the ball. Go and run the football. Right. And you're going to have, and let me correct this, by the way. They did it with Scadaboo in Arizona State, but it wasn't as if Arizona State had nearly as great of an offense or efficient as an offense. So Scadaboo was even close to tying the shoes of Lawrence Phillips.
The only really non-quarterback that is on the odds board that has like realistic odds is Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah. They just don't make him. They just don't make him like that anymore. They really don't. And we haven't had, like, I guess Genty was a pretty transcendent, but Genty wasn't playing for a power. That was the tough part about Genty. Genty was transcendent, but he was playing in a non-Power 5 conference. And by the way, nobody, I was looking at stats yesterday, nobody has a 0 percentage of carries that end in no gain. Nobody has a higher percentage than the Las Vegas Raiders this season. 38% of their runs, Vegas, end in 0 or negative gain. And that's Ashton Genty running the ball.
That's too bad. That's a shame.
Are you saying that sarcastically?
No, because they're in my division.
Okay. That's bad. It's really bad. You should trade him in fantasy football, by the way.
Well, there's also, I mean, the role of the college running back. Look at the 2 running backs we're going to see tomorrow. Now, or on Saturday. Haynes he's
good. He
is good. I mean, he's leading rusher in the Big Ten. There's a lot to like about him.
He's got 6.9 yards per carry.
He can house it. He went 75 like that against Oklahoma. He's got explosive runs, but when he is not going 40, 50, 75, what are the rest of his numbers and his carries
2, 4,
look like? I mean, just look at the 2 running backs in this game. Like Emmett is not just a straight ahead power running back. Emmett is a guy that get him touches, whether he's in the passing game or the running game. You know, Nebraska had a running back who is also a wide receiver playing now, which I also think the situation with Mosey and how unique they will be moving forward, not just Saturday, but getting him on the field is, are they more comfortable putting him on the field on the regular because Quentin Ives is back into the trust tree where your number 2 running back, Ives, has come back to be that guy. And so then Mosey will not be full-time running back. He is your slot wide receiver, which you want him to be. And that's where he's going to play instead of lining up in the backfield.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, but I'm going to be real with you. Like, there was nothing that I saw from Quentin Ives where I was necessarily like, oh my God, he's heads over heels better than Mosey. Like, and also too, I think Ives will be nice to have in the short yardage game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised as opposed to them doing the Heinrich Harburg, where we calling it the hard dozer or the something like that.
The Heine heave.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we look for now.
Yeah.
Who is the first running back out there? Will it be Ives again after what he did against Houston Christian?
Yeah.
Will it be Mosey and line up in the backfield and then move into the slot? Or will it be the confusing case of Mekhi Nelson?
There you go. I mean, I think like heading into the Houston Christian game, we just assumed Mekhi was 2 and then Mosey was the gadget. And now you're kind of, I mean, I guess you're glad that Ives played the way that he did to put himself in that conversation. The more, the merrier.
Well, who knows what happened with Nelson, because the head coach and the OC sounded like they were talking about 2 different situations.
Yeah. I mean, I just think with Mosey, like, I think he's better than Ives, just straight up. I would just put him out there ahead of Ives every time.
All right. Sip and B-Eds coming up in the last hour on 1620 The Zone.
It's officially the most wonderful time of the year, Vala's season. This week's Zone's half-off deal is Vala's Pumpkin Patch. Good anytime pass is $42.99. Includes Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Pair of passes, $85.98. 2 passes for the price of 1. Vala's is open daily all the way until November 2nd, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Check out their new attractions, including Aunt Kelsey's Apple Swing, the Vala's Side Mountain Tube Slide, and the Vala's Firefly Drone Show. Listen to the Connor Happer Show all week and go to 1620thezone.com with a chance to win some Vala's passes.
All right, Steve Sipple's coming up here in about 15 minutes. Jimmy, do you have interest in going to London?
Yeah, I just got a text about that. I guess I got to see if baby can get a passport.
Okay.
I don't like taking games away from your home stadium and all that.
If they're playing anybody from the NFC East, I'm going to be upset.
We're not talking about the Cowboys.
So
I wouldn't go to Gretna to watch them.
Would you go to your basement if the Cowboys were playing, Jimmy?
No.
Okay.
London is calling, and college football is going to Wembley Stadium. So the inaugural Union Jack Classic will feature from the Big 12 next year, Arizona State and KU. That is Mr. Yormark thinking outside of the box.
I've already gotten the text that says I want to go with a bunch of O's. So, happy wife, happy life.
So they are
Guess I'm going to London.
I'd go to London. I go to London to see my team play. I'd rather go to London than Ireland.
Oh, see, I haven't been to. I am like the least worldly traveled human, so I don't really know if I have an opinion on whether or not I would like to go to London.
I enjoyed my time in London 25 years ago. I'm sure it's the same. So I would go back.
I'm Irish, so I think I would pick Ireland. Haven't been to the motherland.
The Big 12 is going to play baseball games next spring in Mexico City. Conference baseball games will be played in Mexico City. The Baylor women are already playing Duke in Paris this November. And now Arizona State and KU, beyond the borders, are going to London for the Union Jack Classic at Wembley Stadium.
Is that as random as Northwestern Nebraska playing in Ireland? Well, in terms of like, they're conference opponents, but they're like, Arizona State Big 12, Kansas Big 12, Northwestern was Big 10, Nebraska was Big 10, but it's not like they were rivals or anything like that. They were just, Sipple conference opponents.
The hate will be flowing.
So
it's just like
because you don't want to, neither school wants a rivalry game taken away from their home stadium.
Oh God, no. But I'm just saying, like, it's one of those like kind of random, conference matchups where it's like it could be played in like week 6, at Kansas, and we would be like, oh, decent game. But because it's in London, we're kind of like, oh, that's like a big deal. And it's did you say it was kicking off the season, right?
No.
Oh, it's not kicking off.
They were bitching about playing at Arrowhead last year. Now, nope, this is further east.
I do like this idea.
Still better than Columbia.
I like this idea of London getting involved in college football a little bit more than Dublin. Because next year in Ireland is North Carolina and TCU. Is that right? Because whoever loses that game, your season is over.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well not come back.
Yeah.
Because Nebraska, Florida State, and Kansas State have proven that if you lose in Ireland, that your season is done. It's over. It's not going to go well. I don't know if there's a hangover. You lose. I don't know what it is, but we are trending for the last 3 years.
TCU, North Carolina.
Okay. So that's probably that is a TCU home game.
Mm-hmm. It's a return.
Yeah. So since they played in Chapel Hill this year.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. That'll be.
So they avoid Fort Worth in early season.
Your show, speaking of North Carolina, your show that you carve out time to watch live, Jordan Hudson was supposed to be on it.
Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah.
I forgot you're one of those.
What do you mean? What's one of those? I like entertainment.
It's okay.
Who won this? Who won this week?
I haven't watched it yet.
Gee,
I'm a fraud.
I'm
a fraud. I haven't watched it.
No Cubs, no dancing.
Hey, don't call me no Cubs. What are you talking about? I am a Cubs fan. What is it's just because I'm compared to this guy over here.
But are you a Bud man?
What?
You're a Cubs fan, but are you a Bud man?
I like Miller Lite, so no. I'm not a Bud man. I'm not a Budweiser honk. Talk about acid reflux. That thing sits worse than an Arby's sandwich.
Okay. I don't have acid reflux, so I'm not
Good
sure.
for
but
you.
I
Good
took
for
my
you.
first Tums last week.
Really?
Yeah.
It took me 5 years to do that. It took you.
I'll take it. I mean, I'm old.
All right. I'm the young one on the show.
Mhm.
I like this idea of going to England. I also like
Why-
the Big 12 thinking outside of the box.
What are you a part of? Like, are you King Henry's eighth removed grandson? Why are you so in favor of London but not in favor of the Irish?
I just
More Oasis, less you two.
Yeah. What the hell, Gary?
I think there's also more locals that will be into the football because they're used to it. Now, it could change down the road because Dublin is getting the Steelers and the Vikings, in a couple of weeks? They're going to be playing not in the stadium that the college game is played in. They're playing in a different stadium in Dublin, apparently.
Yeah. London, big
But-
KU alum base.
But London,
Dallas, Chicago.
London has they have a long history now of American football coming over there and playing. What will be the reaction to college football? Because, will there be an assortment of jerseys in the stands? You watch any NFL game, there is the pocket of the two teams that are playing. But the thing that I like watching the European games, and specifically in England, is almost every team in the NFL is represented in the crowd.
Yeah.
People that are going to the game, they're NFL fans. They represent their team, even though their team might not be playing. Will there be just rando college football uniforms in the stands at this Arizona State KU game?
That'd be great.
Like what? Like
What do you?
you're going to
what do
jump
you
off your
do-
couch when you see somebody wearing a Nebraska jersey?
Somebody wearing a Coastal Carolina Chanticleers jersey?
Who would be? Who
Very
do you
nice
think would
colors.
be the most popular college football team in London?
In London? I have Bama. Bama, Notre Dame. I don't
Probably,
think
Probably Texas. Those bastards.
Bama,
are
Notre
everywhere.
Dame.
big brands. Probably Notre Dame. Probably has a nice little foothold in London.
I don't.
Alabama because they've had success.
Georgia, maybe.
They're like dogs. British
Maybe
Bulldogs.
Michigan. I would say Bama. I would confidently say Bama, because if you were getting into college football like in London, they were like, if we're going over the last 10 years, they were the team. And even if we got to think of national games, right? What teams have played the most national games? What teams have been on the biggest stage for people over there? Because those people aren't getting your, Fox, Northwestern versus Rutgers,
And they're missing out.
11 a.m.
They
game.
really
Yeah, they're missing out greatly on watching
I-
those slobber knockers.
TCU,
Probably
Iowa
Bama.
State.
I'm no longer interested in Nebraska and Northern Illinois playing in Kansas City. I am interested
gotta
in
get this
Nebraska and Northern Illinois playing at Wembley Stadium.
I want them to play. I don't know what you have against Ireland. I love Ireland.
Yeah, but they did that. Already.
You know
so
what
now
they
you have to go
said.
to watch the
800
Huskers
years
in
of
London.
aggression. 800 years of oppression. 800 years of depression.
John says it would be exciting to see if there is a London curse like there is a Ireland curse. And I thought Matt was Cuban, not Irish.
Can
Well,
Dutch Irish.
a man not be both?
You seem to be a lot of things.
Can you describe those things?
I have described them plenty to you. You have a lot of countries running together in
That's
your body.
not true at all.
When did we become Irish?
What's my last name, Gary?
Is McMaster Irish?
Very.
I just know it's not Jewish.
It's Scottish.
Okay. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Well,
I'll say Dutch Irish.
we had a castle, and then we got kicked out of the castle and had to move to Ireland. This is actually McMaster family history lore. We got into a turf war with another Scottish family, and they won. So they took over our land, and then we had to flee to
they
Kirkcaldy.
even took his hat.
We had to flee to Northern Ireland,
Hmm.
and then Grandpa Mac moved to Belfast. Then he got to Ellis Island. Then he got to Chicago,
And now you're here.
and now I'm
How
Irish.
about that?
And then my father, Michael, met a Cuban woman named Marty. And now I co-host with you.
Exactly how. It went
All
down.
roads led to Gary Sharp. The McMasters lost a turf war and lost their stone castle. So their great, great, great grandchild could host with Gary Sharp on 1620 December.
Was this recent?
No, I
Early
just
80s.
described you 300 years of history. Yes, Andy
Can
does
I look this up? Is this like a well-known battle?
the McMasters versus the
Just
I don't
like
know
the
the other
backyard
last- I
brawl?
don't think so.
Like the Hatfields and the McCoys?
I don't know. I am technically Northern Irish because of where we grew up, but we're not. We
So
don't.
you were always North Side.
We don't have to get into that. So
Do I say congratulations?
no,
Okay.
But the Northern Ireland and like the Republic of
Yes.
Ireland, and
Right, it's
that's
like
a whole
First Baptist
that's a
and
whole
Southern
ordeal,
Baptist.
and then London.
They've made movies about that ordeal.
Yeah, Belfast, great movie. Jane Judi Dench is in it.
Is your grandpa in it
Good in everything.
No, Grappy passed away.
before the movie came out?
Yeah, he passed away in 2016.
Too bad.
Yeah, he was a diehard Cubs fan and died 2 months before the Cubs won the World Series.
Oh, okay. Did you share it with him?
No.
You did not go to his gravesite and like take a beer and sit there and tell him about the Cubs winning the World Series?
Family's complicated, Gary.
Did you not like him? Did he get exiled?
Family's complicated, Gary.
Was it a hit?
No, it wasn't a hit.
Okay. I didn't know if there was past stuff.
No, he didn't get wiped out.
Steve Sipple is, I got many questions. I'll try and get them answered for you all during the break. Steve Sipple's coming up next. All right, before we bring in Sip here, something I mentioned last hour is now official concerning Class A football in Nebraska. They're going to drop district competition starting next year. It was approved this morning by the NCAA board. 11 Class A athletic directors put the proposal together. John Krogstad, who is the district athletic director for OPS, he was the one that spearheaded this. So it'll work this way. The top 16 teams in points advance to the state playoffs. There will be 36 schools in A next year. There were only 2 of those 36 that did not get behind the proposal, but now it is official. And hopefully it will eliminate some of the blowouts that we have through a few weeks of high school football. The average margin of victory in Class A is 41 points. All right. With that said, here is Steve Sipple from 93.7 The Ticket and Oscar Online. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good. We are doing well. How are you doing?
Fine. I'm driving, so
Okay.
it can be a little
Oh.
perilous doing this.
Oh, that's right. Are we catching you on a Thursday speaking engagement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not what's going on. I had a couple. You know, you got me last week on Sipple. You've been doing this for 11 years. I don't know what it is. I'm always kind of scurrying after my show.
Yeah.
I got to, but it's fine. I mean, we're good. Can you hear me all right?
Oh,
we
yeah.
can hear you perfect.
We got you fine. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
No.
I can. Perfectly.
Did you stay up Saturday night to watch Bud?
I did not. I never planned to do it. My plan all along was I had some people, some well-placed people, some people I could text me during the course of the night, kind of give me your thoughts. One was grandson Alex, who's really understands boxing. And then I would watch it in the morning. And I watched it from round 12 to 2. I went backwards.
You watched the fight backwards?
Yeah.
I love that. That's such a boxing guy thing.
I don't know why I did. I just started at round 12. I kind of already, the reason being, Matt, I already kind of knew what happened.
Sure.
And I will tell you this. I don't regret not watching it because it unfolded about like I thought it would. It really did. I figured it would go about like it did.
Mm-hmm. How important is it keeping that right foot on the outside when you get into dirty boxing with an opponent?
I don't know. It's common practice. But Bud was magnificent. But both of them are. They're both great fighters. It was they represent the sport extremely well, which I really appreciate about Bud is his affection for the sport of boxing and the respect with which he treats it. I appreciate that about them both. Those are two tough fighters, and they really comported themselves well.
Ooh, you okay?
Oh yeah, we had a little situation here. I pulled off, so we're good.
Okay, all right. Is there anything left for Bud? Because you do know boxing. Anything left for him to accomplish? He's going to be 38 a week from Saturday.
Yeah, I think there is. Specifics. I think he just doesn't look ready to retire. He's a young 38. He doesn't. You could tell me he was 31 if I knew nothing and say, yeah, that's how he fights. I think he's got a lot of fights left in him. I don't know what his plan is, but I guess I'd be surprised if Bud said, yeah, I just got one more to go.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You're good right now. You're really good right now. So I don't know. There's a fine line. We've all seen fighters go way too far with it. I don't want him to see him do that, but he's the best pound for pound fighter in the world right now.
Yeah, and there's no argument for that. That's a heck of an accomplishment to have.
Yeah, there really isn't an argument. And so why now? Like, why would you?
Yeah.
Maybe he will. Maybe he tries this Memorial Stadium fight, which is, I think, a possibility, and then calls it after that. Although I'm telling you, and this is just a feel. I have no inside information. I'd be surprised if that was it. I don't know. He's got so much in the tank right now.
So I was going through, you're looking at all these matchups, right? The offense versus defense, Michigan versus Nebraska. You're looking the secondary versus the wide receivers. But so I doing a little digging. Nebraska, they were first, but for whatever reason, the number changed. They're now second, according to PFF, in overall special teams this season. In that, they'd easily be number one if they didn't kick the ball out of bounds the amount of times that they've had.
Wait a second. That's PFF rating?
PFF rating. Overall.
Really? They're number 2 national.
They're number 2 nationally in the PFF behind Minnesota.
Okay.
Michigan has had, I think, 7 total return yards in the punt return. And I think they also had a muffed punt as well on top of that. Do you think that, at the end of the day, special teams and Mike Eckler's unit is going to be the swing in whether or not Nebraska's victorious or not?
I don't know if I'd say it that definitively, but I think it could be. And it has the type of feel to me, this matchup. It would, I keep saying this, that if Nebraska is going to win this game, it'll have to defy the football axiom of you typically look at a team that can run the ball and stop the run, and whichever team does those things better, that's probably maybe who you should pick.
Mm-hmm.
Football's complicated enough that it's not always that. And I think this is one of those games. But having said that, Michigan runs the ball better than Nebraska, safe to say. They defend the run better than Nebraska, safe to say. But I do think special teams could be critical and probably needs to be critical for Nebraska. And the fact that we can even say legitimately that they can win this special teams battle and maybe need to illustrates the level of improvement that unit's made very quickly. That we can say it with a straight face, because we wouldn't have been able to say that last year. But I do think I think they probably need to win special teams. What does win special teams mean? It can mean a variety of things, but you need to be sound, number one, and you need probably a big return. And if there's a 42-yard field goal, you better bang those home. So there's a lot in that conversation. There's always the coverage aspect and all that, but I think that generally speaking, they need to win that.
What's the biggest thing you're curious about, that you still have a hesitation about this team, that 3 games hasn't answered a question, and maybe it won't be answered Saturday, but it'll be the number one curiosity of yours about this team in that game?
Number one curiosity, it's just sort of what I started with there. Can Nebraska just line up against Michigan, 1st and 10, at the 25? Michigan has the ball, and what's those first few plays when Michigan does the Michigan thing and just runs it at you? How much is the line of scrimmage moving? And is it Nebraska defended that run well, but they got 6 yards? That's what I'm most curious about in this game. So I think that's critical. I think that's the most critical element. The essence of this game was covered very well by John Butler on Tuesday, and that there's a very good question a reporter asked, like, how do you go? You try to confuse the rookie quarterback. There's really no confusing the rookie quarterback if you don't give yourself a chance to. If it's continually 2nd and 4, 3rd and short, or you don't even get the 3rd down, then what do you do? How you got to confuse it? You got to stop the early run and put him in 3rd and medium and 3rd and long, and then maybe you can confuse him a little. Maybe you can get him rattled. Maybe the crowd gets him rattled. But it's all about Justice Haynes. It's all about Justice Haynes to me, and those early downs.
Looking at Bryce Underwood, how do you think he compares as a true freshman to what Dylan was last season?
I haven't seen enough of him. I haven't seen enough of him to know. They're different, obviously, because there's a running component here. Dylan's probably, I'd say, a better passer for sure. But I don't know. Ask me that question next week, because I'll be able to size up an entire game. And I think if you're a Nebraska fan, you hope that Dylan had some rough moments last year. in the Big Ten as a freshman. It's a lot to ask, and you have to factor that part prominently in this discussion, that he's a freshman and they need this win, and they're probably going to be in a rough environment. I got to think it'll be rough.
If it's not, there's something wrong.
Yeah. So, but again, a lot of it's game related now. That discussion about the crowd's game related, because if they come out and hammer you on the ground, take the crowd out of it too. But if Nebraska bows up well and puts him in rough spots, then it gets interesting in a good way for Nebraska.
Hey, he wears the green dot on defense. He's turned into a really good player, and we thought that when he was here. Are you surprised that the return, and I know it's the second time here, and wearing Michigan colors, that Ernest Hausman, that story is not a bigger story this week?
It illustrates something, Gary. And I think you can always find examples to the contrary. But when you're gone in this world. I mean, he left and he's gone. So I think you see it with a lot of players. You just don't know where they're at even.
Mm-hmm.
We keep track of everything. But no, we're not paying much attention to Hausman. I haven't been. Hardly anybody does. Like, you don't pay attention to Uma Nealon, or is that how you say it?
Mamiela.
Yeah, or that quarterback who's playing at Nevada. I can't even remember his name.
Purdy?
Chubba.
Yeah, Chubba. No, when you're gone, you're gone. That's the. I mean, I don't know that I'd call it a lesson, but it's just this. That's the reality of this world, and I don't think it's just football. I think it's same applies in basketball. When you leave a place, there's a lot of people. They're not going to care whether you're from Columbus, Nebraska, or Columbus, Georgia. You're gone.
Yeah, that's an interesting, you know what? I haven't thought about that. There's not like a lot of guys that were on last year's roster. Like, you'll see him if you're watching a game and James Williams at Florida State, or if you watch North Carolina, Baylor. You're right. I haven't gone to look at stats. You know who the last player I did to do that was Wandale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wandale's a little different, but even then, I'd say it wasn't like he captivated the state with what he was doing at Kentucky. He was gone.
Oh, that's a good point.
You notice them if they're in front of you, but typically, I don't think most people seek out the information.
Yeah, 2 years ago, people were upset. There's Hausman, but anything that comes out of Michigan, there's hardly any reference that he played a year at Nebraska. That's a good point, Sip. That's I hadn't thought about that.
We just go on with our lives. They go on with their lives. That's the way it works.
Well, you know that he'll want to go 2-0 in that stadium.
Oh yeah, he's a big part. He's a leading tackler. He's a leading tackler. He's a huge part of it. He's in the middle of the fray, and he's done a great job. And you could see it when he was at Nebraska. He was going to be a good player. I mean, he was playing. He was playing a lot of minutes as a true freshman in the middle of a defense. That tells you a lot.
Sip, when they played Michigan, when Michigan played Oklahoma, like the consensus was, all right, Michigan got behind the sticks a couple of different times. Venables and that defensive line was able to confuse him, and it led to him throwing 9 of 24 and having a very lackluster passing outing. Do you think that John Butler, with his defensive line, whether it be on a 3-man front or a 4-man front, is going to be able to do similar things as Brett Venables in Oklahoma was able to do against Bryce Underwood?
I mean, I think Oklahoma's much better position with talent level. I mean, I don't know. There's only, I don't know. I can't answer it until I see it. My guess is, Nebraska, I think it's fair to say that if they do kind of, we'll say, shut down Haynes, it'll be a pretty big surprise, right? You're not really going in expecting that.
Sure.
So again, I just go, hey, Matt, the only way I can answer is to go back to what I said earlier. I mean, a lot of this, there's no magic tricks. There's no, we always talk, like, people ask me, hey, do you think Butler's held back some exotic blitzes?
That's a Dana thing.
Yeah, but if you're banking on exotic blitzes, you're in trouble.
Sure.
You can't. That's no way to live. You might be able to get him, but how often do you guys watch a lot of football? How often do you see a guy come free and get a free hitter on the quarterback?
Rarely. It seems
Three
like these.
times a year? 3 times? here, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Akron forgot to block 93, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Like, yeah, there'll be that. Sometimes a guy just shoots free because he, the blocker blows an assignment. But no, I mean, Butler help matters. His experience, just like Wink Martindale's experience, help matters. But there's only so much there's not really a lot of magic tricks those guys can come up with.
Sure.
Have you made a public prediction on this game yet?
No, I haven't, but I don't mind. I mean, I didn't really decide until the last 8 hours.
Okay.
And I like Nebraska. I mean, and it's just a sort of a buildup of text that I get from guys and what I hear. I like them, and in part because this isn't hardball Michigan. They're flawed. They're flawed. They're not. They're just. It's not a great Michigan team. I think Nebraska's ready to do it. I just think it's going to have to be a little unconventional. They're not, because of what I said. It's going to be a lot of Dylan. I think there's going to be a lot on Dylan's shoulders in this game. But I think that Dylan and those receivers can handle it. It's going to be interesting because I think you're going to see a lot of man-to-man, which I don't think that's a bad thing for Dylan because he's precise. He can throw balls where he needs to in man-to-man coverage. And I think he can handle the mental test, which will be presented to him by Wink Martindale. And then, again, I think special teams becomes big. I think the Aussie punter, who we haven't even seen except for in a victory formation, I think he could be maybe the second or third most critical player on the field on Saturday. He's got to help the defense. Pin him. Don't let that ball roll into the end zone. Get it inside the 10 and make that freshman quarterback work against a very good secondary, which I haven't even mentioned. That's the other part of that whole discussion. If you can put them in third and medium, third and long, now you're working against a very good secondary. So, I think there's enough there for Nebraska to win a close game.
Yeah, I like that. I like where you're going with that. Sip, as always, we appreciate it. We will have a good speaking engagement today. I know that people are excited to hear from you as they always are, and we'll see you.
I'm sure they're thrilled. I appreciate it.
No, they are. They are. I've been to one of those before. I've sat in the audience when you're speaking. I get fired up.
Thank you, Gary,
All
for
right.
that.
We'll see you Saturday.
See you, Sip.
Are we in Beatrice or Kearney today?
I have no clue. I don't know what you're talking about, you two.
So it's the Sean Callahan Enterprise where, you get to go to speak like Kearney, Beatrice.
Oh, okay.
Columbus, other places.
Okay.
You might go to a Valentino's. You might go to the social hall.
Might go to a pizza
over
ranch.
lunch. And it's great because, people over their lunch, they pay, $10 and they come to hear a speaker and you get a lot of good stuff and they ask great questions.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. So
Sip
does that, I think, every Thursday.
I wish I got
Sometimes you drive to Nebraska City.
I wish I got asked to do that. I wish I got asked to do more things. Actually, I'll take that back. I don't think they're, by the way, he was talking about Archie. I got this sneaky little feeling that Archie Wilson's going to go back and he's going to get a punt, and they're not going to have called a fake punt, but he's going to be doing his little Aussie run to the right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's go, "Oh, mate, no one's there." And then he's going to go and he's just going to run and he's going to get a first down. I think he has that in his repertoire. I think Archie's an athlete.
Well, he was a Aussie Rules football guy. So he can run.
I think at some point this year, he'll just going to catch it. He's going to be running. He's going to be like, why aren't they trying to get me? And then he's going to go.
People are asking if Nebraska does not punt for the third straight week, are they going to play for the national championship? Yes.
Or Dylan could have thrown 4 interceptions and there could have been 3.
Why do you have to always bring up that side of it?
Well, I'm just telling you. I'm just laying out,
Brian Edwards is coming up next. By the way, Sip lets me know he'll be at the Fremont Eagles Club at 11 a.m. if that's where you'd like to see him. You can hear our good friend from MajorWager.com, Vegas Insider, the senior handicapper, Brian Edwards. Good Thursday morning. How are you?
Doing great, fellas. Good morning. How we doing?
Hey, we're doing great. Thank you. It's not on one of your plays, but you have any thoughts on the Nebraska-Michigan game where the line sat at 1.5 Michigan for a while? It's jumped up a point here in the last 24 hours. Any thoughts on Nebraska-Michigan in Lincoln on Saturday?
I gotta be honest. I watched a little bit of Nebraska, Cincy, and a touch of Oklahoma, Michigan, but I have not watched either team enough to have a good read. I just think it's a toss-up game. So, I do have to pick it in my contest that I haven't picked. And they always do a half point. So I'm guessing I'll get Nebraska plus 2.5. I'll probably go Nebraska, but I don't have a strong.
All right, let's start with an intriguing Big 12 game. Arizona State goes to Stark Vegas and they lose. Baylor lost to Auburn. Big game. Dave Aranda's name's being mentioned for UCLA. Kind of a sneaky line. Baylor's a favorite in this game against Arizona State.
Did not know that about Aranda to UCLA. ASU has not looked anything like the CFP team we saw last year. Obviously, Cam Scattergood's absence, obviously plays a big role in that. I like Levitt a lot, but I like Sawyer Robertson more. I think he's playing better right now. He's second nationally in passing yards. 10-2 TDI and T ratio, but both picks were against the FCS opponent last week. No picks in the SMU and Auburn game, and and he threw for more than $4 against Auburn. I think Baylor at home, 3 or fewer. I got to go with them. They look like they're in a little bit better form right now. Baylor minus 2.5 for me.
Okay, this line is interesting as well, and this is the big showdown of the Big Ten and maybe a playoff elimination game. Illinois is in Bloomington, take on Indiana. Night game. Indiana is a nice little favorite in this game.
Yeah, and I noticed, as I'm looking for it now, I noticed a couple of 6.5 pop either very late last night or early this morning. Okay, here it is. Superbook, Westgate, and Basil have 6.5. Looks like Hard Rock. Is that Hard Rock, Florida? They're 6.5 as well. I like Illinois at plus 4.5 on Monday morning, and I haven't gone against Nettie at Indiana. In fact, I've gone on him a lot of great success. So maybe I'm playing with fire here, but Illinois as a road underdog under Belima, 12-4 against the spread and 16 such spots. I like how Altmaier's playing, 8 touchdowns, no picks. They've already gone on the road once. It was kind of a misleading final, but, got a nice win cover, and I backed them that week at Duke in a 45-19 win. I think this is a very close game that is probably decided by like a late field goal, and now that it's 6.5, maybe by a half point to 7, give me the underdog line.
Hey, let's go in the SEC. Let's go to Columbia, where if South Carolina would have been upset by Vanderbilt, game day probably would have been in Columbia. We don't know about Sellers officially, I don't think. Big game for Mr. Drinkwitz. They welcome in South Carolina. You're doing a couple of different things here. Team total in first half. Walk us through how you see the Tigers and the Gamecocks.
So, every man or woman's got to make the decision for themselves, because this line will definitely drop beneath the key number of 10 and maybe all the way to 7 if this number is upgraded. If he's downgraded, it may shoot above 14. So what I've done, I've gone full on, real solid plays on Mizzou, minus 6.5 in the first half, but I like it at minus 7 or less. And the team total in that 28.5 to 29.5 range went over there, and our beating is they are 8th in the country in scoring, 51.7 per game. They scored 52, 2, and 61. 8th in total yards, 587 per game. Fabula, 76.4 completion percentage, 7-1 TDINT. 3 rushing touchdowns as well. Ahmad Hardy, second in the nation in rushing yards with 462, 5 tutties, 8.1 yards per carry. I think you can bet Missouri any way you want. First quarter, first half, game, team total over first half and game. I think Missouri spanked them with or without Sellers. I think Missouri is a problem. The South Carolina's offense has only scored 5 touchdowns in 3 games. Got out-yarded by an FCS opponent in week 2. Obviously Sellers left early last week. But, they had 3 punt returns for a touchdown and a defensive scoop and score. The offense has been bad. I think Missouri rolls.
All right, let's final college game. Very intriguing matchup. Big noon is there. Salt Lake City. It is Utah. We know what we're getting. We get Dampier as well. Texas Tech's been pretty balanced, man. Texas Tech has looked good. They really haven't played anybody. Now they play somebody in the Big 12, but Utah is a little slight home favorite. Feeling Red Raiders or the Utes?
Well, both teams look great. Nothing against the Red Raiders. They look outstanding. I think the Utes look outstanding as well. Love Dampier. Shout out to my guy, Tim Murray at Beeson, who got Dampier to win the Heisman at like either 90 or 100 to 1. Ooh. And I think he counted like 15 to 1 at some spot.
Yep.
This is a smaller opinion than the others, but I got to go. As long as it's 3 or fewer, I got to go to the Utes at home.
Brian, we're always happy on Thursday after Tuesday and Wednesday to have football back on. But tonight we got what could potentially be a stinker as what the best team in the NFL and the Buffalo Bills takes on arguably the worst team in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins. Are we shutting this game off at halftime? Or, do you think we bleed into the third quarter? What you got?
So, rivalry game, so it may not get super ugly, and I don't like to lay double digits in the NFL, but I'll lay the 7 with the Bills in the first half. I'll go Josh Allen over 29.5 rushing yards. I had it at 34.5 last week. He got to 60. It's like I have 12 survivor entries, not in the millions contest where it's 1,000 an entry. Very, very inexpensive entries, but a big pot. I've got 6 of my 12 entries just to win outright on Buffalo. I'm okay with Buffalo's team total over as well, as long as it's 31 or fewer. Should be hopefully 30.5 at normal juice rather than 29.5 at like minus 160. But minus 7 in the first half, my favorite play on Buffalo, and obviously hoping my survivor picks go unscathed.
All right, you're on the Sickos game of the week as Jake Browning's Bengals go to Minnesota to take on Carson Wentz's Minnesota Vikings. Where are you at, Brian?
Yeah, Bengals win this one outright. They've got the better backup QB. The Bengals believe in Jake Browning, 4-3 as a starter in 2023. Despite 3 interceptions last week, he directs a 15-play, 92-yard drive at crunch time to win that one. Hey, because they're 2-0, the playoffs are not out of the question for this team. Browning's one of the best backups in the league, and Minnesota's all banged up. Aaron Jones out. Obviously, Carson Wentz at QB. Not that the offense was looking very good to begin with, and CCD's been a lot better than I thought. Not great last week, but a huge 4th down stop there at crunch time. Getting the Bengals, catching the 3. If you want to get greedy and go a little plus 140 money line for less, kind of against it.
0-2 Texans take on the Jags. Are you pulling the eject button on Houston yet?
Not at all. No way. No shame in losing a really late comeback to the Bucs, who were undefeated. No shame in losing one possession game at the Rams. I know it's on the road on a short week, which is normally a major red flag, but I think the desperation mode is the what takes precedent here. Houston is by far the better team with the better quarterback. They should be favored. I think it's a couple 2.5 top. I don't think you need to buy it at 3. The Texans went outright.
All right, final game. Eagles take on the Rams. Are you on the ATM machine? That is the Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. And how do you like the game?
Yeah, so I got greedy last week on Vegas Insider, and we can only do 1 player prop a week. And so I did Jalen. I did it first week as well. Score specifically in the first half. I got plus 180 week 1. I went plus 200 last week. It was my only loss. On Sunday, it cost me the weekly Vegas Insider handicap bonus. Doggone it. So I'm not getting greedy this week.
Jalen anytime touchdown minus 140. Hopefully less expensive than that. But I got Eagles minus 3, minus 120. Couldn't believe it. First thing Monday morning. I don't like it at 3.5, but if you can buy it at 3 and it not, be like minus 142, Eagles minus 3. If it's 3.5 and they're thinking pay an insane amount to get it to 3, maybe just pass and go Jalen anytime touchdown, or maybe go Eagles minus 1.5 the first half, minus 1.5 or 2. I'd like it at 3 or fewer. But yeah, that's where I'm on that game.
Hey, have a great weekend. There's a lot of football to be had. Enjoy it. Good luck. As always, we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
It's, Brian Edwards, who we hope he does well this weekend so he can get a new phone.
Or so I can do well.
Oh, selfish.
I am.
All right. We'll do the crossover, a little brief crossover, and then we'll see all you at noon. Roundtable today, more on Nebraska, Michigan, all of our thoughts together. People forget, last time we did a roundtable, Nebraska won. Go to the blood bank on that one. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Football Friday Fiesta. For Jimmy, for Matt, I'm Gary. Connor Happer Show is coming up next.